Hi.
That would be stupid.
So much stupidity. Welcome, everybody, to the Renegade Realm podcast.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Episode 109. It's crazy. 109th episode. I say that every single episode. I'm like, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? You know who else is crazy?
Sure
Everyone in chat. Go ahead. What is it?
I said, I'm pretty sure you just keep saying it's the 109th episode every episode, too.
That's
After 100, I feel like you just gotta lose track. It's just like, oh, welcome to 100 episode and 9. Again.
Welcome to the yet another over 100 episodes of the Renegade Realm podcast. And just shout out to everyone who's here hanging out. I do want to shout out channel members. I'm trying to get used to doing this, but I do want to thank you all, everyone for being who is a channel member so much. And we just lost Assassin, which is even better. So before I get into that, let me change. Oh, look at this. And then I am now Assassin. So let me not be Assassin anymore. Look what happens.
Assassin hates channel members. It's a well-known fact that Assassin does not like channel members. He's completely against it.
You guys might not be able to see it, but you can literally hear his eyeballs rolling so far in the back of his head, like every time I go to shout out the channel members. So just don't think about it.
Red loves him. I love him.
Exactly. We love you all. We love channel members Cold Eastwood, American Fury, Hargeet Chani, Barry Donnellan, Game Seeker, Highlander Grim, FarQ, That Blue Number, Talos Ray, Assassin, AEC founder Mr. Click, User for Games, Brew, Bino Red Hood, thank you, Nick Artistic, Mojave Mojo, and Gendit. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for being channel members. It means so much. And shout out to one of the channels, or the channel's biggest sponsor, I guess I could say, Lotus Esprit in chat, who says, smash that and sub. And if it weren't for people like Lotus and everyone who donates to the channel, I literally wouldn't be able to run the show. And I mean that literally, would not be able to run the show at all, because I was able to get the PC, build the PC that I have to actually be able to do all the YouTube stuff. So you guys literally made it happen. So I just want to thank you guys so much. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to Corrupt Killer, who I don't know if I've ever seen them before, but they said, I love video games. This is before the show ever started. I love video games and pizza and ice cream and days off and women and The Witcher 3. Hi, my name is and everything bagels. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I do love The Witcher. So thank you. And I literally can't eat bagels. I can't eat pizza because I will
If I didn't know any better, I would just say that's you typing to yourself, because that's exactly how you speak.
Well, it's funny because like I was like, this has to be like one of my friends messing with me with like a troll account or something, because like all of those things I hate, especially women. No, I'm kidding. Shout out to
And on that note,
that's the show. I knew he was gonna do that. At least it didn't kick me out. Well, look, this is how we could do a solo show from now on. Oh my god, it killed me. And on that note, anyway, shout out to BT Maverick, Andrew Colonnane, and the American Fury, Barry Donnellan, Corrupt Killer, Arcane, what's up? Says make sure y'all like and subscribe. Let's see who else is here. And Jonas, shout out to all the women in chat. Yes, thank you. Exactly. Oh, an RSJ fan, thank you. Speaking of the women in here, yes. That was a joke. Don't unsubscribe. Not yet, anyway. But anyway, we're going to get into it. And so Assassin just sold his soul, his dog, his Xbox, all of his Xbox games, his Switch, everything, just so he could spend 93 cents to get a PS5 Pro. Not a joke. So he's rebooting his PlayStation, his brand new shiny PlayStation Pro, so he can be on the podcast. So speak of the devil. Speak of the devil, look who just walked down, wow, how. Anyway, but yeah, DeMarco, how are you, man? And what have you been into?
Busy. Obviously the showcases this weekend, right? That was taking up basically all of my time. I had zero opportunity to do much else. But the channel's doing really well, so that's always exciting to see and super rewarding. And I'm really happy with all the support that's been going on there. And so outside of that, just been making sure that Assassin doesn't hang out too long because I get tired of seeing him in the Discord. I mean, I love when he's here, and so it's just always a wonderful thing. And ultimately, I've just been wrapped up by all the awesome announcements. You know, there's so many cool things. A lot coming in 2026. I thought there'd be a lot more for 2025. So I don't know if some of that just went over my head, because obviously when you're streaming a showcase, you're so in the zone of just like trying to be entertaining and trying to make commentary and also trying to pay attention and offer some value there. So I don't, maybe I missed a lot of dates, but I feel like there was a lot more 2026 than I expected and a lot fewer 2025. And I really wonder, I'm left to wonder if, you know, I know we always point to this, but I wonder if it's just a matter of, you know, there was a certain game that was supposed to launch in 2025 and it's not anymore. And so everybody was like, just wait till 2026, right? We could wait. And so they waited till 2026. They moved all their deadlines around. They moved their benchmarks of where they need to be at in development cycles. And now they're all like, crap!
Fuck, we should have fucking just let everything go. Yeah, it's a really
There's always a delay for Rockstar games. There's always one. So
and it's
just
like, I know that we had Dave Goodrich on, who I know we had Dave Goodrich on, and I know that he mentioned, I think he was just saying in his experience as a game dev that he was saying, like, I've never been in a situation where we were like intimidated by another game release that we had to push our release back, but I feel like it is the one and only company that can do
Jacksepticeye. So Jacksepticeye, I don't know where I heard what video I heard it in, but he said the exact opposite, where he said, I know people in the games industry and they're like, no.
Like, no, that doesn't happen. Oh, they
no,
right,
he said
like,
we're staying away. We're staying away
right,
from Grand Theft. Yeah, he said, he's like, I've talked to my friends in the industry and they're just like, we got to stay away from this. So I do wonder. Yeah, and once you move a game back, you can't really. I mean, you can. We've seen games get pushed up, but usually by a couple weeks, maybe a month. I think the Skywalker saga had gotten delayed about 4 times and then got pushed up a month. So that was a bit of a weird one, but it doesn't happen that often. So they just wrapped up in all the announcements. Yeah. Wrapped up. Clockwork Revolution. I've been that's been stuck in my brain. That's been stuck in my brain non-stop.
That and Outer Worlds too, and it's the same company. It's weird. I'm like, it's like the same game, but not. It's like, for me, it's like I remember I used to play New Vegas and Skyrim back to back. Like, I would play it for like 2 hours, you know, whichever, Skyrim or Fallout New Vegas. I would get bored of one or the other, then I would just immediately save my game and then load up my save of Skyrim. And I used to do that all the time. That's sort of feels like this might happen with Outer Worlds and Clockwork Revolution. Not that will happen, because they're obviously going to release at different times, but they're one's steampunk first-person RPG shooter. The other one is a space RPG.
Sci-fi RPG.
Sci-fi.
Shooter.
Yeah, right. With thirst and third person, which I
was watching, and they had a section during the trailer, like when they opened the show, they had a section during the trailer where they were walking around with a heavy weapon, and it was like for half a second, but it was in third person. And at first I was like, nah, it's probably just because you're using that big heavy gun, like, you know, when you play as like certain characters in Star Wars, yeah, like Halo, it goes out to third person and then it goes back. But I said, I looked at it, I said, no, and during the stream, I was like, is that third person right there? And then sure enough, like when they got to the aftermath, they're like, it's playable in third person. I think everybody unanimously was like, well, now Red can finally play Outer Worlds, right?
Everyone said that. Literally, dude, not only the third person looks really functional, like, it looks really good. It doesn't look like a tacked on thing. Like, it looks like you do like sliding around and stuff, you know?
Avowed they added it in. They said let's get the, but it wasn't meant for it, right? But they added it in. They said we could get it to work. You could tell that they from the get-go they said we're gonna add in a third person.
Right.
And it shows. It shows.
BT Maverick says we need to get you guys out to FanFest next year. Assassin can wear a bag over his face if he wants. We could totally do that. He says thirst a person shooter. Exactly. Lotus says Assassin, continue to do you and live your truth your way. Is that? Can you do that, Assassin?
Can I do what now?
Can you live
your
your
truth?
way?
By going on camera?
I would rather reach out to the truth, if I'm being honest, because, man, okay. I'm so happy that Persona 4 is a thing, right, Red? That's the whole theme of the game.
I know, and you were kind enough to actually gift it to me, which I was like, I'm going to play Persona 3, I'm going to wait for Metaphor, then play Metaphor, then play Persona 4, and I'm still going to do that, but now I'm going to play the remaster of 4, so I'm like, should I send this game back to you? But yeah, but hey, before we get into that, what we're excited about, what have you been into, Assassin? What did you do today?
What did I do today? I just slacked off. My second to last day before I go back to work. So I'm just absorbing all the reactions from the industry about what happened the past few days. That's what I love to do with showcases.
Yeah, you didn't sell anything or get a new piece of hardware?
I did not.
All right, and you're a liar. What else have you been playing?
Yeah, okay, all right, fair enough. Yes, I did sell off my Switch OLED and my original PS5 and my Xbox collection, because that's all Xbox is to me, is a Game Pass machine. Yeah, I sold it all for a PS5 Pro. I got it for... So I got the Pro, I got like 6 games for a deal. And, yeah, I got all of that, plus the disc drive, plus the stand, plus an extra controller. I got all of that for $1, technically, with trade-ins. But yeah, 93 cents, not too bad. Not too bad, if I do say so myself. And I still got all 3 consoles.
How many people were in line behind you?
None.
Okay. So GameStop's
People don't go to stores anymore.
Yeah, right. What
are you?
Well, the
stupid
thing is,
I
went into town and I was like, hey, I want to trade all this in for a PS5 Pro, and they're like, we don't have any here, but you know, this other store like 30 minutes away has one. I was like, oh sweet, I actually know the GM there, because he'd actually done business with me a few times, right? So I went over there. I was like, hey, I got all this stuff to trade in. Do you mind? He's like, hell no. We're pretty slow today. It's like, all right, cool. You're not going to be slow this time. And he's like, why? And then when I showed him, he was like, you crazy SOB. What are you trading this all in for?
So you came like with
That's
like a
how you
literal
afford
duffel
a
bag.
copy of Mario Kart by trading all that.
Pretty
in.
much, yeah.
Right.
It took about a good 30 minutes to process, but man, he was low on trade-in numbers, and I think I just filled his quota for the month.
That's how you afford one copy of Outer Worlds 2.
Yeah, right. Oh my God. Yeah, we can talk about that too. American Fury says all that just to play Xbox games. Yeah, exactly. Can you play Mario Kart on the PS Plus?
No, but I can play it on the Switch too. I did not.
RSJ fan says, "Hey, Assassin, how are you doing?"
I'm doing fine, Becca. I'm whelmed. I am just whelmed.
You're whelmed.
I'm happy, and I'm whelmed.
Okay. And shout out to Great Monad in chat who gives us a little wave. Monad,
American Fury, yeah. All that to just play Xbox games? Yes, and PlayStation games. You can't do that on an Xbox, can you?
I got a new controller today, and I'm very happy that I have it, and I'm also feeling very guilty.
Ashamed?
Yes, very ashamed for
Why?
what I had to do in the parking lot to be able to get it. I did indeed get the Witcher controller.
He pushed over 3 old ladies running through the parking lot.
I did.
They were like, I'm buying this for my nephew. And then there's Red
Get
like,
the fuck
no!
I'm like, whoops, just tripped them slightly. And I can go grab it here in a little bit and
They
show you
said
guys.
he just bought a Switch. Is this the controller for that? And Red's like, nope.
That's mine. I'll show
Wrong
you.
one.
Yeah, I like take him to like the silverware section. I'm like, you can actually nowadays use a fork to play video games. We're like, thank you so much, honey. Technology is just so out of my reach anyway. Anyway, but yeah, I'll show it a little bit later. But no, I did have to, because scalpers are just terrible people, and the thing is, I've never wanted a all these custom controllers. I'm one of those people that I'm like, it looks awesome, but like I'd rather just go make my own, which I did, and I love my custom controller. Marco loves his controllers too, but I've never seen one that like made me. What is it?
They're just plain, simple, plain, easy.
Yeah, like
They
your
work.
plain white mugs. You're a simple man. That is the way.
You
to
know
go.
what the problem is with custom controllers?
Yeah.
They all wear down over time. So you spend all that money, and then it's like, well, I love this controller. It's custom. It's mine. It's my baby. I designed it. And then it's like, it got stick drift.
Well, that's true. Well, so I actually was able to send you can send yours in, and like 2 weeks later it comes back. They don't replace anything. They just remake the entire controller, which is cool. But I think whenever you send it in for repair, you spend you spend like, somebody in chat tell me, I think it's like $80 compared to like $180 or whatever it is for the price of the controller. So you can do that, and which is what I've done with mine. But I called Xbox. I think I told the story. I called Xbox. My warranty was up, and they're like, you've been with us for like 14 years, the lady on the phone. And I was like, yeah. And she's like, let me just make this happen. And she just like made it happen for free, which was really cool. But yeah, the Witcher 3 Elite controller is amazing. I've never wanted a custom controller, period. And then the Witcher 3 came out. I'm like, if I were to have made a controller, this is what it would look like. I have to have this. So I spent like, I'm just gonna be honest, I spent like, it wasn't that much more. I spent like $100 more than what it would have cost. So by comparison, I'm pretty happy. Like, because it could have been like $200 more, and I would have. Nope, not doing that. So it wasn't that bad, but I wasn't about to argue with whoever the whale was on the other end of eBay. But I got it, and it came from Australia. So thanks, Risk It. Appreciate it. Thanks for the controller. Let's see, everyone. Here they will do a second run of the Witcher controllers. Well, if they do that, I'll feel extra stupid. But I had to have it now, right now. So I got it. Let's see. American Fury says, for now, Wolverine is like 5 years away. That will all probably be on PC day one. Yeah, I would hope the PlayStation starts going day and date. And I'm actually in the one of the reasons that I wanted to get the Witcher controller is that way I can take my custom controller that I made and just leave it in here in the studio room for PC only, because I'm doing this whole walkthrough of how to boot up my PC by going into the BIOS and all that with just turning on my Xbox controller, which will boot my PC up, and I'll remove the password. So my PC literally turns on, boots up automatically into Steam big picture mode, and it's like a console. And that's what I'm going for. It's going to take a lot of work, but I'm going to make it work. I'm going to try. So yeah, PC is definitely going to be the future, unless Xbox's new hardware is what we hope it'll be with Steam integration. But BT Maverick, yeah, or PC where I can play Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch 2 games, which has already been hacked. Yes, exactly. Anyway. Huh?
I said Yarhar. The jolly blue seas. Yarhar.
Yarhar indeed, brother. Yeah. So, but yeah, thank you all so much for hanging out with us tonight. I really appreciate everyone being here. How many people we got here? We have 23 people. Let's get to 23 likes. That would be really great for the people watching. We're only at 7 likes. Come on, guys. Come on.
You sure you don't want to be at 67 people?
If I wanted to have 67 people in here, Assassin, I would leave and let you and DeMarco do the show. Thank you very much. It was still one of the it was so awesome to listen to you guys do a podcast, and I was like, wait, this is on the Renegade Realm. You guys did such a great job. It was really fun to listen to. So it was a good problem to have.
I have some experience.
You have done a podcast or two, yeah.
I've done one before.
So, yeah.
I think.
But yeah, everyone who's listening, please hit the like button. Let's get to at least 20 likes. There's over 20 people in here. That would help a lot. It's free to hit the like button. Really appreciate it. Where's Holly? Holly's working, so not sure if she'll be back on. Life stuff happens and schedules collide, but you can go check out Holly on her channel. That blue number. You can go find her on Twitter. She's making videos
I think she's
now.
She's gonna be streaming Mindseye around the time that this ends. So
Yes, there you go. So definitely go check her
you
out.
can check her channel out. Yeah.
And go show her some love to her new
channel.
content. She's doing like actual videos now, which is really exciting. So yeah, please go shout her out. KLZ180, hey everyone, Xbox is looking good. This is the first time I am considering getting a handheld. Definitely will be the X. Bring on a great show. Yeah, man, I'm right there with you. And we'll definitely get into that. There you go. Here, DeMarco, thank you for linking that. Go check out Holly's channel. Boom, right there in the chat. Toxic Buttwind, I saw you retracted a message, but I don't know what you said. But shout out to you. What's up, guys? Have a great week. Red is going to use his birthday suit and camera to start up his PC. Yeah, I mean, I'll figure it out. I'll make it happen. But anyway, let's get into this ding-dang thing. All right, so let's just go over real quick our highlights of the show. We were talking before. We're not going to cover everything, guys. So chat, what I want you guys to do is just let us know what your highlights of the showcases were, whether it be State of Play, Summer Games Fest, or the Xbox showcase. Let us know what your big takeaways were, and we'll talk about that while you guys are putting that in. But I'll start with you, Assassin. Are you what was a couple of your big takeaways from the showcases that we've had recently?
Honestly, I have one. I pretty much have one for each, so I'm just gonna go through them quickly.
Yes.
Let's see. The first, so State of Play. I kind of want to go the exclusive route. I don't mean to do this, but there was no other game that actually took my attention other than Pragmata, but it was Marvel's Tokon, the fighting game from Arc System.
Oh, right.
I showed that off to my girlfriend, and she and I were both. Once I showed her, she was like, "We have to get it," because now that she has a PlayStation, I obviously have one. We both actually like fighting games pretty casually, and we both are big fans of Marvel, so that one was actually the biggest one out of the State of Play. Summer Game Fest, obviously that was Resident Evil Requiem. I still can't believe that Capcom actually cock-blocked us. Like, they reserved 2 spots just to do that. Absolutely
it was very well done.
No, 3 spots, because
it was very well done.
The Blue Ball section, the Resident Evil section, and the Onimusha section, so they technically bought 3 spots. Just one of them just to troll us. I'm really excited to see what exactly they plan to do new with this, with the new game. And oh, hold on, just 1 second. Go ahead, Marco.
The hell was that?
I heard Baby Assassin.
Yeah, that was a little Baby Assassin.
It's tough, right? So this is my list from, and it's not gonna come out well, but like this is the amount of announcements, and this isn't even all of them. Like 1 line per game from Summer Games Fest, right? So it had a ton that was shown off, a lot that was shown off, and
I have returned. Man. Yes, family was delivering dinner. I apologize. Yes, that was my little one.
Baby Assassin.
Yes.
I think.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of really cool ones. I think absolute capstone 100% was Clockwork Revolution. I can't get that game out in my head. I can't stop thinking, because I don't know what I was expecting from Clockwork Revolution. I thought it'd be this cool like BioShock game. And maybe they said it was going to be an RPG somewhere before, but that completely slipped my mind. So then I see this Fallout point. If you watch, it's not that hidden. But if you watch when the guy steps up to the counter, he's like, "Oh, so-and-so robbed me." And then they go into the character creation. They have strength, dexterity, like, you know, charisma, all these stats. So you're putting points into stats. You immediately get a point from me. Then they're like, "Here's the individual skills." So you have, you know, your skill for like this and like one-handed, two-handed, like whatever weapons. And I go, "Oh," and they're putting points into those. A point system, Bethesda. And I'm like, "Oh, this is amazing," right?
Yeah.
And then they show off the character customization, and I go, Oh my god! You're like, it's like like in Family Guy when Quagmire's like, oh!
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I felt watching this thing. I was like, no freaking way! And they did all of these cool announcements, and they're showing off then the weapon customization. They're doing the stock and the mag, so they got that level. And I'm going, oh my god! And they have the great performances. You can't understate the performances from all the voice actors that were there. So you had that heavy story-driven side of it too. So I'm just like, oh! And then, and they did it. They're doing all of this. They're doing all of this, and they didn't even get to the time travel stuff by this point. They've shown off all of that.
Yeah.
And they hadn't even mentioned there, and then they're like, oh yeah, and by the way, we have this time travel mechanic, like 3/4 of the way through their 5-minute trailer. I couldn't, it was amazing. It was absolutely immaculate, and it had humor. It was dark too. It wasn't like this Disney-fied thing. I called out, I have a video where I did go like through the recap of the Xbox showcase, and I kind of walked through everything, but there's a moment where the custom-made character, he's just like, there's a guy on the floor, he's begging for his life. He's like, oh no, please don't, I promise I won't say nothing. And then the guy's like, sorry, boss, bang, bang, and just double taps him in the head.
Yep.
It's like, oh my god. So they have like the silly thing with like the guy was peeing his pants when it was unconscious. Like, haha, guy peed his pants, like LOL.
Yeah.
But then they had a lot darker stuff in there too. So that 1,000% stole the show, and for that reason alone, I think Xbox won. If you're trying to like rate which showcase was the best, I would say Xbox won, because Clockwork, that one game. But I have to say too, there were a lot of massive standouts. Fractured Bloom, which, if you don't remember, that was the, like, they described it as Doki Doki Literature Club meets
Silent Hill.
Silent Hill. And that looked really, really intriguing to me. I'm super into whatever that is. Also from the Xbox showcase was There Are No Ghosts in the Grand. I don't know what the heck that game was either. That was the one where they were like, it started off, it seemed like a simulator. They were kind of like building this house back, and then all of a sudden there was Cthulhu and the cat from Alice in Wonderland, and there was like, they were doing Ghostbusters at one point.
Right.
I don't know what that game was, but I was, as soon as they got to that other stuff, I went, the paranormal, I went, oh, okay, I'm feeling it. At first there was singing and dancing. So that one was cool. Chronicles Medieval Sieges with Tom Hardy. That was that was the opener for Summer Games Fest with the big scale battles, it looked like. The Game of Thrones real-time strategy. Very, very cool. I wish Elder Scrolls would have done it first, but Bethesda is Bethesda. Mouse for Hire with Troy Baker. Very cool. And Mouse for Hire just looks awesome.
It does.
And then... Yeah, I got plenty of others, but... If Ill is a real game.
Oh, that was one of mine too. Yeah. Oh man. That
Also,
looks so good.
the last one I'll say is shout out to Lego for going after Mario Party, because they have a Lego version of Mario Party. That was just and then shout out to Sega for their Sonic racing game. That was like, oh yeah, Mario and by the way, you can actually play online with your friends, because that's like a cool thing that people like to do, right? And they had a kart racer that looks like it could very easily rival that of Mario Kart. And it looked like a ton of fun.
Hey, Red.
So, Sonic Kart I'm on board for. Lego version of Mario Party I'm on board for. And if both of these launch at not $80, then that's just like the biggest middle finger to Nintendo they can give it, honestly. It shows that Nintendo can't keep getting away with what they're getting away with, where they think they're just on top of everything, because now there's competitors that are coming directly for the types of games they make. And I love that. I love that so much.
I'm on the PlayStation Store, so I'm looking at Sonic Racing Cross Worlds. It's not $80. It is $70, which is $10 less. I know I would have preferred it to be $60, considering... all things considered, but I will say if the game is good and all three of us decide to get it at some point, I'll gladly jump on for a race or two, because Red, if you got it, I'm pretty sure Joker would be your main. Shadow would probably be mine.
Yes.
I think DeMarco, I don't know who he would choose, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, let me post this real quick. I tried to schedule a tweet for the show. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. I've tried to do 3 of them. I had them all typed out, ready to go for the week. None of them work. So thanks a lot, Elon. Shouldn't say that out loud. Probably get canceled. So I'm gonna tweet this out.
Of course,
and,
the problem is they're gonna have their season pass, right? So they got.
While Red's busy, I'm just gonna finish with what I was saying with my picks.
No, please.
I know a lot of people thought that I would say Persona 4 would be the highlight of the Xbox showcase for me. As much as I love Persona, I cannot believe I only saw like 10 seconds of it. That puts it at like the number 2 or 3 spot. The one that most impressed me with the Xbox showcase, and this is gonna be a hot topic. The Outer Worlds 2. It looks amazing. It looks like they improved almost everything from the first game. It being $80 though, that is, as much as I like the Outer Worlds IP, and I played the first one, I beat it. I didn't 100% it, but I liked it. And I'm very excited for this one. $80 is a really hard sell for me. It really is.
But
like, I don't know how
have
Ninja
Game Pass
Gaiden 4 is $70. That is true. That is very, very true. That's actually a good point. I can always just play on Game Pass, and when it goes on sale in December,
Yep.
for
I
cheaper,
hate
then
that.
I'll get it then.
I hate that.
Okay, DeMarco, then what do you want me to do?
Well,
What do you want me to do?
You
Do you
know
want me to buy
what's
it at 80?
happening, right? Like, you know what's happening.
No.
They're
Game
Pass.
They're pressuring people into
yes.
Game Pass so
Yes.
that they can raise the price on Game Pass as soon as they've
Yes.
locked in their market.
So you're
Exactly.
going to
gonna
tell
raise-
people to not play a game that they really want to play.
No, this is just the way of
that's not.
subscription services. I don't know if you guys
That's just
remember.
the way it's gonna be.
Netflix. Now remember this. GameFly.
Defeatism isn't a good argument though.
Netflix and GameFly used to be $5. Okay, and Game Pass used to be $1. And once you're grandfathered into subscription services, you have this mentality that you can't go without it. You can't live without it. Well, I might as well just pay. I've already paid this much. When if you look, even with inflation, you look at how much money you're spending in comparison. Yeah, you are being pressured into just, well, Game Pass is a better deal, and anything is better than $80. And look how many games we're talking about right now. It's 100% what I was going to say to Marco. I totally agree. Whenever Game Pass becomes $30 and everyone loses their shit, and then Xbox goes, well, would you rather pay $80? Because we have 7 $80 titles coming out in 2 months. What are you going to do? You're gonna spend $700? You're going to spend $30? And people go, that's pretty good.
I'll just sign up for Game Pass, and then they go, oh man, it's $35. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
whoops,
we're introducing a new tier to Game Pass. So now you only get you only get these releases. You don't get these ones. So there's ads in your Game Pass version. Well, if you go to the higher tier, there won't be ads in your game. Oh, you want to play the newest Call of Duty? Well, here's Coca-Cola in the loading screen because you didn't pay for the ad-free plan of Game Pass.
Exactly.
It's
shit. It's shit. You know what isn't shit? Biff Rinaldi, thank you so much. Becoming a Renegade runner, a channel member, thank you so much for doing that. He says, what up, people? Really appreciate you. I'll add you to the list of channel members. By the way, if anyone is in chat and I didn't read out your name and you are a paid member and not like a gifted member, please let me know. Please let me know and I'll add you to the list because I want to make sure everyone is, I want to make sure that I thank everyone appropriately. So Becca, if I didn't shout you out, I apologize. I saw your name and I was like, did I say her name? But anyway, thank you so much, Biff, for becoming a channel member. Really appreciate that. Thank you. King Styles, welcome. But Assassin, you can just. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah. Sorry, I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Was that the only? Okay. And thank you guys for hitting the like button. I see we're up to 14 likes and 27 people. Come on, guys. Use your thumbs. Use them. Sorry, go ahead. DeMarco, was that all your highlights?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's
Nice.
plenty of others, right? But there's plenty
Those
of
were
others.
the big ones, right?
Those are
Assassin.
bigger ones, for sure.
Yep.
The actual last one. The Owlcat Games working on The Expanse.
Oh,
Dude,
yes.
it literally made me want to watch the show. It's not like I never had any interest. It's just one of those.
It's
one of
the buy,
those.
and now you're not going back to it.
Yeah, well, it's like I
that's what
started
happened to
it.
me.
Yeah, like I started it and I was like, this is really, really good. And then like I just stopped. Like, let me just get into something else. And then I just never, literally just never went back to it. But now I want to really get into it because there's a Telltale game that's The Expanse. I worked with someone like 10 years ago that was like, maybe it's less than 10 years ago. That was like, if you love Mass Effect, you have to watch The Expanse. And I'm like, because you're so locked into the things that you're comfortable with, TV shows, video games, books, whatever. It's hard to come out of your comfort zone and try something new. But it sounds like The Expanse really is worth your time, and I really want to give it another shot though, so I can get invested into the universe. So that way, by the time that this game comes out, The Expanse game, I will be ready for it. Biff Rinaldi member for 2 months. Oh, I thought you just became whatever. Thank you anyway. Whatever. Thank you. Says Red, you have a Stream Deck. You can set up a button and send out your tweets. That's what I do. Oh, if you have it. Yeah, I don't have it. Well, I got on my PC and I scheduled everything to be sent out, and it was like, yep, you're set up. 6:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, June 10th, you're good to go. And then I went and checked my drafts, my scheduled tweets, nothing. I did it a second time. I was like, okay, it's got to be good this time. 6:05, nothing happened. I'm like, cool. I had 3 other tweets scheduled for the week, just random tweets with screenshots talking about games that I love. Gone. So, F you, Twitter. I don't know what's going on there, but thank you for that recommendation. I'll try to sort it out. Arcane says, I think plenty of people, myself included, will simply wait for many of the $80 games to go on sale. I'm patient. And besides, my backlog is literally endless, as I'm certain it is for many others. It is. It is. It just doesn't end. Whenever I created the spreadsheet of games, it started off as a spreadsheet that I called like Ultimate to Beat List. That's what I had. It had it named. I eventually ended up naming it just Games List because it's not me having a list of games to beat. It's just I just need to keep track of what I have, and that's literally all it is because I'm never going to get through my backlog unless I just grind away, which isn't fun because you're not. Don't rush through games, guys. Don't rush through them. American Fury says it's one of the best sci-fi shows ever made. That's what I've heard, man. The Expanse. Andrew Cullinane, sometimes we need a reminder to hit the thumbs down button. You can do that too, right, DeMarco? If you hit the thumbs down button, it still helps, right?
It realizes, yeah, if it counts as an engagement. It's just they measure likes and dislikes the exact same way. So hit the like button, hit the dislike button.
Do it all.
We'll just smile
hit
anyway.
them both at the same time. Take both of your thumbs and go and just try to hit them at the same time, and whichever one wins, there it is. Just flip a coin. Let's see. We are so Arcane says we are so inundated with games right now that we actually can afford financially to wait for game prices to drop. The only problem is the FOMO in both the zeitgeist as well as early access. Yeah. DeMarco loves early access, but that is a really good point. It's funny because now I'm waiting. Like I'm waiting on. It started with not Atomic Heart. Atom Fall. Now it's. I could bring up a list, but anyway, the answer is yes. I agree with you. There's a ton of games. Indiana Jones. That was the other one. Indiana Jones, Atomic Heart, or I keep fucking saying that. Atom Fall, and there's a couple other ones that I just have to write down on my phone just to keep track of them because there's so many games I can't afford. I literally can't afford, but I will get to them. And the good thing is, by the time that I do get to them, I can afford them because they'll be cheaper. So. You just had to pick and choose. RSJ fan, is anyone else practically drowning in content at the moment? Yes. Yes, we are.
As a Capcom fan, I'm going to be drowning next year. Jesus Christ. Capcom has 3 major AAA games next year, and they're all completely different from each other.
And that's another thing, Assassin. Not only am I excited about what's coming, I have been feeling so nostalgic lately. I am downloading older games. And Arcane, you're going to love to hear this. You guys know I say this all the time. Stalker changed the way that I look at video games as far as difficulty and being patient. And don't get frustrated. Be patient. I downloaded Prey because I'm going to beat it this time. and I'm going into it with the
Arcane's
mentality.
gonna be happy. That's my favorite Arcane game.
Oh, is it really? I thought it was his. Well, I just thought he. Well, listen,
I mean, he is the Arcane realm. He is the Arcane realm.
The Arcane realm.
Yeah, but
that
I'm
is
going
my
into
favorite
okay.
Arcane game.
I apologize. You're right. Now I'm remembering us talking about this.
Arcane loves all Arcane games, even if they're terrible.
Even if they're terrible, just like Deathloop. No, I'm just kidding. Deathloop is another one that I need to give a try to.
Don't say that with him in the chat. You know he's gonna be like,
kidding.
you motherfucker.
The thing is, no
Deathloop
game is
wasn't
terrible. It's
bad.
just it's subjective. Especially these games. Like, dude, can anyone argue that any AA, AAA game that gets announced nowadays, no one can say if someone says it's a trash game, any game that releases AAA trash. Mechanically, visually, I would say that 80% of games that release days. Unless it's Mindseye. I've seen some screenshots from Mindseye. Anyway, our Web Dave, what's up, man? Oh, I'll be on Web Dave's show in 5 days, so tune in for that terrible mess. Thanks to me, not because his show is great, but since I'll be on, terrible. But thank you for believing in me, Web Dave. I appreciate you, man. Arcane says, what the fuck? Redfall for life. Yes, Lotus Esprit. BT Maverick says, best of luck when Gears, E-Day, Halo Remaster, Fable all come out. $80 next year. Yeah.
I mean, if that's scared. To me, then, well, that's fine. I'll just play Game Pass until they go on sale.
That's fine. Starfield has a higher Metascore than Black Myth Wukong. Yeah. Which scores are weird to me. Like, they're two totally different games. So, but that's good. Yeah, that's good. Starfield. It's funny. Speaking of Starfield, I saw a tweet. I don't know what it was that I saw today. I was reminded that Todd Howard says that they admitted. You can remind me, DeMarc. I'm sure you saw this. Maybe it was an article, but it was something. Someone said something like, Todd Howard has said over the past few months, over the past year, that like they want to stop. Like they realized their mistake with announcing Elder Scrolls 6 way too early, and they want to announce things whenever they're closer. And everyone's like, they're still leaning into Fallout 76. We sort of touch on this after the showcase, but I think that sort of would maybe explain the lack of Starfield. Was like, we have so much from Bethesda right now.
I think part of it was like Gears was announced and they said it's going to PlayStation, right? And I think part of it maybe they didn't want to do the same thing with Starfield. So I believe that they're going to announce Starfield coming to PS5, and they're going to do that in sync with when they announce the DLC. So what I fully expect from Bethesda is that A, it simply wasn't ready. B, they are trying to make sure that everything is in a row. And C, this is going to be a bigger DLC. And honestly, I think most of the team is now on Elder Scrolls 6. So I think internally, Bethesda has said that we are going to finish off Starfield with one last DLC. That's going to be it. We're going to leave this team of like 100 people, because Bethesda's like 450 to 500 employees now. So they're like, we're going to leave this 100 people. You guys are going to finish up the DLC. It has to be bigger than Shattered Space, right? They're probably going to do, I mean, they already have 1,000 planets, so they don't need to like make a new landmass, but they might develop a specific planet and they'll try to make it bigger or something of that nature.
Or just like a 2.0 refresh, just like a Cyberpunk 2.0
I don't,
is what a lot of people are thinking, like
where
they add like, where they just make things, they address some of the issues.
They can't
like,
with Starfield. The bones of Starfield are not there. I know that there's people who like it and like the formula that it is, but as someone who is not really that fond of Starfield, I can tell you that there's nothing they can do to that game other than deleting it and redoing it from scratch that would make me go, okay, Starfield is actually really in a place where I am excited to hop into it. And there's certain things, like they just had the creation from King Gath that came out, where you can manage an actual fleet and they'll travel with you, and then you get orbital bombardments, and there's whole voice acted
Watchtower.
quest lines, and there's a new companion that comes along, and there's a lot of stuff that's very, very handcrafted, and that's pretty cool. But even then, it's like, okay, you have this cool thing that's inside the shell of all the other stuff. And again, this is coming from someone who wasn't too fond of Starfield and the way that it was presented. There's all this other stuff that I got to trudge through to get this one interesting thing that they were able to do. So for a lot of folks that fall into the same boat as me, Starfield just does not have the skeletal structure there to do a 2.0. Cyberpunk did. Cyberpunk always had that route because it was done in a way where they were able to sort of build it out. I think Starfield just isn't going to resonate for a lot of people, even with a 2.0 release. So 100 people working on the new DLC. They'll finish it up. Most are on Elder Scrolls 6. They probably want to try to bump that release date. I think it's going to be 2027. They want to make sure that they hit it with no delays needed. So they're going to just gear up as much as they can for that. And then, you know, do they regret announcing Elder Scrolls 6 too early? Yes, but at the time it made sense. And I still think it was the right decision because they were doing Fallout 76, then a new IP. So someone like myself, you think people are angry that they announced it too early? What do you think people would be saying? Now, given you could argue, well, they would have announced it now with the teaser, right? And then maybe that would have been better. But there is not a single bone in my body that believes if they did Fallout 76 and then they did Starfield and Starfield released to the reception that did from the wider audience, right? Because it is still a smaller niche group that I think likes the game. People would have been losing their collective mind. If you think they're freaking out now, there is no way that fans would not have been losing their minds if Bethesda had not announced it, or if they just announced it for the first time at this showcase.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I don't believe for
You
a
think
second.
Bethesda should have went the Rockstar way, not announcing a new game and a new franchise until it's close to completion?
No. I don't think that Bethesda...
Like with GTA?
No. I don't... I think that... Well, GTA's a sequel, right? So it's not... It's not the same.
Okay, so they're damned if they do, damned if they don't. Got it.
With Starfield, yes. With Starfield, yeah. They were.
Yeah, with Starfield, yeah. Like, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Starfield is by no means a bad game. It's not trash. It's not terrible. It's just not what traditional Bethesda RPG fans wanted. They wanted a Bethesda art space RPG. I 100% agree. They didn't want a Bethesda space sim with RPG-light elements.
Exactly.
And that's fine.
And that's what I've always said. Like, whenever I talk to people about Starfield, I'm never going to convince anyone who dislikes Starfield to like it. That's not going to happen. But at least I can offer an explanation that might give them, well, I think this is why you don't like it. And it's not going to change your mind. But you might go, that you actually bring up a good point. Maybe it is like this. It's too sim heavy. It doesn't. It's, for example, look at Outer Worlds 2. That is a deep sci-fi space RPG first and foremost. And I even said, I was like, what happened to the ship? Because even in Outer Worlds 1, you could get into your ship and you could travel, but it was literally just teleporting. But it was cool to like get in your ship and then teleport somewhere, just for like the immersion of like I traveled. But they didn't even show that because it is an RPG, a deep RPG focused game first, and Starfield is not that. And I would argue that I think maybe the deepest RPG that we've gotten from Bethesda was Fallout 4. They leaned way into the character and the voiced protagonist, and I don't know. You could say that is the most heavily, Anyway, I could go on and on.
Who's not a Fallout fan, wasn't the biggest complaint of 4 was that the dialogue options were just too simple?
It was that they were voiced, so therefore you couldn't really immerse yourself as a character of your own. Was sort of the consensus that I took away. Like, because the character is voiced, you are literally just Brian T. Delaney the entire game. Or I'm so sorry. My God.
So does that mean those same people are not going to like Clockwork Revolution because your character's voiced?
That's not. It's the expectation of when I hop into a Skyrim, I am able to immerse myself in that game because it is me in that world, right? I create a character, They're silent. So when I pick a dialogue option, when I say, I'm not doing that to an NPC. They say, oh, I have this quest, go kill rats in my basement. I go, I'm not doing that, right? Because the character's not voiced, I could say, I'm not doing that. Or I could say,
and that's
no,
you.
I'm not gonna.
Or
gonna
it's
do
the
that.
character that you're role playing in your head, right? Like
exactly. So I can
Or
play
a
the
completely
game
different
with
person
that
in your head.
with that one dialogue line. I could do it 5-6 different ways every single
Exactly.
time I play the game. I can do it a different way. And that's what I enjoy about Bethesda games specifically, because there's not a lot of studios that do that. Obsidian's getting better at it. They're starting to really hit their stride. I think everything we saw with The Outer Worlds 2 is indicative of how they're really coming to their own. I think a game like Tainted Grail does a great job of that, right? But when I go to play Clockwork Revolution, when I go play The Witcher, when I go play Mass Effect, those games, I'm there more for the story. I'm there more for the world building of it. I'm there more for all of those peripheral elements that come with I am playing as Commander Shepard, and I have agency playing as Commander Shepard.
Yep.
Right? He could be good. He could be, the renegade badass. He could be the good paragon, the hero.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm playing as Commander Shepard, and that story is Commander Shepard's story.
Right. You're the curator
Bethesda games
of the
offer me something
narrative.
different.
Right.
So when I hop into Clockwork Revolution, it's the
And
same
you're playing as
thing.
Morgan. Yeah. The
When
character has a name, Morgan Vanette, I think his name was.
Right, I'm playing as Morgan,
Yeah.
and that's fine. And I'm right. So I think there's just a very different expectation, and that's really what it comes down to for those types of experiences. And that's why there's a big debate. So I when Starfield was before Starfield release on my channel, and I was covering it very, very heavily. There were a lot of folks that said they shouldn't do a voice protagonist, and there were a lot of folks arguing with me in comments going, yeah, but like I like Mass Effect and I like The Witcher, so that should have a voice protagonist, because I don't want to read things.
Yeah, they're not
Genuinely, that
comparable.
was what people were saying. They're like, I don't want to read things in my game. And I went,
I can't
Then don't
read.
play Persona. Don't play
Right, don't
Persona
play
then.
Persona.
I was like,
Wait,
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
play that.
but it's a different experience, right? And so I think that there's room for
Yeah.
both.
It's funny, like it's so funny because whenever we're talking about RPGs, you compare Bethesda games to The Witcher and Mass Effect. They are both, like you said, it's Shepard and Geralt, right? But there's something you don't like. For me, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I don't lose immersion. I guess there are two types of immersion when it comes to RPGs, because either you are playing as Cloud Strife in Final Fantasy, which we'll talk about. You know that you're Cloud, but you are so into the game that it's you playing as Cloud, but Cloud is sort of like your vessel. It's your avatar, just like any video game.
But
I know that
Cloud,
it's not me.
you.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's Geralt and it's Shepard, but I still have some agency over that. Final Fantasy isn't a good example. I just mean with RPGs in general. Specifically with Mass Effect and The Witcher. I was literally playing The Witcher 3. I was like, let me just play The Witcher for like 20 minutes because it calms me down. The way I love The Witcher. I was like, let me play The Witcher for like 20 minutes and like walk around Ard Skellig and listen to the music to like, And even then, I'm like, oh, there's a cave over here. And I'm just like, I am Geralt of Rivia. I'm not my main character, but Geralt of Rivia, just like Shepard, is such a bland, blank slate of a character. Everything that they deliver, a lot of the times, especially Geralt, is very just like, what's the word? I have such a difficult time
Monotone?
formulating word. Yes, very monotone, very like, whenever they're talking, they're just talking like this the whole time. They don't have too much emotion to where it's like, that's not how I would have said that. Like I clicked the dialogue, but that's not how I would have said it. But those characters, you can inject yourself into those experiences so well, and that's just the pedigree of those studios of old BioWare and of CDPR. I would say that with Cyberpunk 2077, I play as male V. I would say that a lot of the times V would say things. I wasn't really. I loved the voice. I love the voice actor for male V, but I wish that he was more monotone and he was more blah, because he just kind of comes off as like this punk ass, just being a dick to everyone all the time. Like, that's not what I want. I don't want to. That's not what I'm. It's not how I wanted to say that to that person. But
The
Anyway,
problem with RPGs is
yeah.
that everyone plays some RPGs different. Some they just want to immerse themselves as their real self in the game, and for others they just want to immerse themselves in a character that they can just invest in, like Red said, Cloud, or with P3 and Makoto. Like you can make all the decisions you want in those games, but those games' stories will not change. You can change where certain characters end up. You can change how certain characters play when you do play as them, but nothing you do can absolutely change their fate. Now, with Mass Effect or The Witcher, you can change where the story goes with those characters.
Yeah.
It's also a matter of fact with Bethesda games. Do you play as yourself like DeMarco, or do you play like me, where you create a character, like Red said, you create a character in your head.
It's still the issue. I say, and I don't mean an issue like it's a problem, but like those characters, anyone that has those voice protagonists, the most common thing is that they still have a background, they have a history, they have certain things that brought them to this point, and you are controlling them from that point on. Like V, you can make a custom story, but it's still you could choose the Corpo or the Lone Wolf or whatever they are, the life paths. But those are predefined things, right? Versus the beauty of a Bethesda game, and this is why a lot of people are frustrated with one of the things that fans got really frustrated with is that the beauty. I made a video about this ages ago, which was the beauty of starting as a prisoner in Bethesda games. I don't know if it's on my current channel. But the beauty of starting as a prisoner, because it follows that old school D&D mentality, where you are creating a character and they have zero input, they have zero effect on the world before you hop into it. They are just literally nothing, and then you build them into whatever that is. And again, you can't get that from what are you using? You're using Final Fantasy. You can't get that from Cyberpunk. You can't get that from Witcher. You can't get that from Mass Effect. You can't get that from Clockwork Revolution. You can't get that none of these games offer that, where you have. And again, it's a D&D thing, which is what original Elder Scrolls was originally inspired by, and by extension Fallout. Right? Fallout was inspired by those old school RPG systems. So people want to see it return to that. I think the other thing too to consider, and I'll just end with this, I won't have any more comments, is just worth keeping in mind when you have a voice protagonist, obviously they're going to have the most dialogue in the game, right? So one of the issues with Fallout 4 was there wasn't a lot of NPC reactivity because the main voice actor took up 80% of the voice acting budget that they had. Yeah. And the time in the recording studio and all those other factors, right, that are part of game development, versus when you have someone who's non-voiced, now you say, okay, all we need to do, the character can say 8 different things now, because now all the NPCs can respond to it, and we don't need to spend the studio recording time, the voice acting budget, all those other factors that we don't think about on a protagonist. We could do that all to just increase the reactivity in the world, and that to me is a huge bonus and worth the silent protagonist in and of itself. Mm-hmm. But you get less of a story focus.
Absolutely. Well said. Well, look, we went on a tangent, but I loved it. That was fantastic. Talk about guys,
Final Fantasy.
Let's talk about Final Fantasy. Before we do that, though, DeMarco, I just want to shout out to everyone in chat. Thank you guys again for being here. Hit the like button if you just jumped in. If you're new here, we go live every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's a good time. We just hang out. We have fun and just talk about fun stuff. And we don't yell and scream at each other. It's great. So you want to catch up on everyone in chat. Starfield and Cyberpunk were great day one, at least on PC, says BT Maverick, and not on Xbox or Xbox One or PS4. It's funny, I am one of the very few people that played Cyberpunk. I wasn't on Xbox One, but it was 2020. Was I on? I was on Xbox One X, and I did not have any bugs whatsoever. Now I did have the occasional random, like, I call my car in Cyberpunk, and it would just like come up to me and like flip in the air for no reason. I'm like, okay. But as a Bethesda game player, I'm like, that's nothing. You haven't seen nothing yet.
Funny.
that's kid stuff.
To bugs.
We literally we're just like, that was funny. That was funny. Anyway,
We've dealt with
and we
bugs
just move on.
for decades. Let's just.
It's true.
It's fine.
Or like when someone like walks through a door and they're like, "Hi," and you're like,
Are you just driving on
okay.
the road and all of a sudden the car just starts clipping into the map and it starts going
Exactly.
up and down and you start falling? Like, this is fine.
It's fine. Yeah, where the car's like through the floor. It's so funny. Yeah, I was like, whatever. But yeah, good shout out there. American Fury says it's a new IP. They've never done anything like that before. People expected Skyrim and Fallout in space. Yeah, they took liberties. Again, I think it was
Is that
maybe
so
just
wrong though?
No, there's nothing wrong with it. I just feel like comparing the two. Not that it's not fair. It is completely fair because we have an expectation. Bethesda hasn't really changed their formula to their own detriment, but to a lot of people's like joy, like mine, I don't think that they need to change. It's just that they need to meet expectations with their legacy IPs, with Fallout and Elder Scrolls. So
They
I
don't
think
need
that they
to
will.
change.
But with
They don't need
Starfield,
to
it's
change.
a
They need to
completely new IP, and they wanted to like get it out of their system, and I think they literally their star system. Well said. Let's see. I don't want to bet. Fuzzy Tomato. Hey, thank you for being here. Says Starfield is still one of my favorite games this gen. Second to Cyberpunk, probably. Yeah, right there for me. It is. Starfield, Stalker 2, Cyberpunk, and well, The Witcher is a cop-out, but yeah, it's funny. Two of my favorite games of all time are first person, and I yell and scream about third person, but it's all about immersion.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, RSJ fan. I'm not a Skyrim or Fallout fan, but I love Starfield. Yes. Let me see. Arcane says, I don't want to read things about RPGs, and then we wonder why we have serious literacy problem. Yeah. BT Maverick says, Shepard, you can design your character female, male, custom. Yeah, which is great. I think I said this a couple, like 2 weeks ago. It was like midnight, and I was like, I miss Mass Effect. And like I installed Mass Effect and like created a Shepard, spent like an hour creating a new Shepard, and I started it up. I was all emotional. And then the next day I was like, why? What was I doing? What did I think? Was I just going to like start a whole new... It's not that there are so many games in RPGs right now. A very irresponsible thing to do. But I did save my game, so I have that ready to go whenever I want to start a new game. I was on Eden
As long
Prime,
as you
and I'm
finish
like,
your
what am I doing?
BG3 playthrough with DeMarco, I think you can forgive yourself.
I don't know. Baldur's Gate is a whole different animal. And DeMarco's already beat it, so I don't know. I think I want to play because he knows like
You
what's
just don't
coming
like
and stuff.
CRPGs.
No,
Dude,
I want to go through.
There's choices in that game. I will see clips from it from time to time, and I look at it and I go, how the F did you get that outcome? Like, even I was talking about it to someone recently about some of the things they did, and there's a whole character in the game that I just chose to be like, nope, you just F right off out of there. And then they were explaining to me how that was like a huge difference in the way that you interact with the entire rest of the game, pretty much based on like some choices and some things that can happen and some interactions that you get. And so it's massive. I've been hankering to hop into Baldur's Gate. It's just really, really long, and I still haven't finished Expedition 33 yet.
I really want to go back to BG3. DeMarco, how do you deal with the combat? Like, for me, the story and the
it's
characters
amazing.
are automatically 10 out of 10, and it was only like 2 to 3 hours in. But the combat was just so different to me.
I just like combat where I actually have to think and use my brain.
Maybe that's the problem. I think even with games like Final Fantasy and Persona, I think I just got to a point where I just let my hands just do the work instead of my brain. Maybe that's the problem.
No, you know what it is? I really do appreciate the tactical nature of how am I going to position these characters, and what skills am I going to use. And Baldur's Gate 3 does a really cool thing versus Divinity Original Sin 2, the previous game, where if two characters are like back to back on turn order, that you can swap between, so you can set something up with this character and then trigger it with this character, even though technically this one came first. So there's just a lot of, and then on top of that, Baldur's Gate 3 and any Larian game is designed in such a way where they encourage you to break it. So,
Oh.
they turn around, like Larians, like when Baldur's Gate first was coming out, they were reposting these things as like, oh my god, this guy's brilliant. And they basically, you could just stack a line of exploding barrels.
Line of chairs right over a wall, right?
Yeah, stack chairs.
Yeah,
up
I remember
the ceiling.
that. That's how I found out about BG3.
Or just set a row of explosive barrels, get one guy to get spotted by the enemies. They all come into that thing to search for him, and then you just blow up every single barrel, and you bypass the entire, or like, hey, here's the main boss of this, or one of the mini bosses in this section. Yeah, just use the shove action, and they'll fall into a pit, and they're dead. And it's like, that was a boss though, but then it's like, nope,
Right.
They're dead. So they encourage that, they welcome that if you want to play that way, and I think that's the beauty of it. So, most games don't offer that kind of.
I think I just need to rethink how I play games.
It's a tactical. It's a tactical game. It's not an action game. It's a tactics.
It's not an action. Not an action RPG, it's a CRPG. It's more tactical, it's more strategic.
But after playing Expedition 33, it might actually make it easier.
You really think so?
They're very different, yeah, very completely different experiences, but I think in terms of, well, I'm going to, because mouth flub.
Exactly.
Expedition 33 makes you think, okay, I'm going to, you're playing as Sayel, so
Keep
you're
talking,
like, okay,
I
or
have to
not, you're playing as Lune, so how am I going to build out my sort of orbs in such a way that I could pull off this move in X amount of turns, right? And Baldur's Gate 3, you're thinking the same way. You're like, okay, how can I use certain skills in order to set myself up in an advantageous position that I can then pull off a combo, or make sure that that guy's dead by this turn, or make sure that this character's buffed, or I have summons in place. So it makes you, that planning ahead, that tactician brain sets in with Expedition 33, at least it did for me. How am I going to use Mael and her stances in order to get to Virtuo's stance by this turn so that I can pull off a combo and break this enemy? Baldur's Gate 3 hits the same, which is why I think I liked Expedition 33 so much, but Baldur's Gate 3 triggers that same part of my brain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I guess when we finally go through another drought, I think maybe BG3 will be the game that I pick up again, but until then...
When we go through a drought, but we're not going to be going through a drought anytime soon with Final Fantasy 7 and 16 coming to Xbox.
And Red's not here to talk about it.
But you are! Go ahead, take it away, Assassin.
What do you want me to say? I mean, I'm glad that Xbox fans finally get it after 5 years. Jesus Christ, they really kept the Xbox crowd waiting. See, the thing that I hate about, and I'm saying this about the fanboys, I'm not saying anybody here because I know y'all are smarter than this. Advocating for boycotting a game just because it came out 5 years later, and you quote unquote feel like a third-born citizen, I think is what someone called themselves. It's dumb. It's like Square Enix is finally supporting the platform, and just because you're upset that you feel like you're quote unquote not worth the trouble, you wonder why publishers used to skip this platform. Like, that is such a mentality that I don't understand. If you want to play a game, then just play it. Who cares if it comes out like years later? Like, I'm not exactly happy that Space Marines Remastered is exclusive, but I don't mind the wait. I will pick it up when it comes available.
Xbox and Microsoft are so incentivized to put their games on other platforms, PlayStation, because they're doing well. I mean, it was Steam too when they started adopting Steam, but it's because they're doing so well. So they look at that and they go, yeah, let's put more games. Right, so when Capcom, we were talking about this, Assassin, when Capcom cancels their exclusivity deals and they decide to start releasing more frequently on whether it's Steam or Xbox, and then they see the numbers come in, the executives and the shareholders and whoever is involved in that are going to look at that and go, oh, that's a lot of money. So if you're a fan of Final Fantasy and you want to be able to play it on Xbox, go support that.
Yeah,
because
Capcom and Sega learned it the hard way. Like,
because then they're gonna look at that and they're gonna see Final Fantasy did really well on Xbox. Maybe we should just put it out there because with money. That's all they care about. Money. You don't matter. You don't. Your wallet does. But you?
Me? Damn it. I agree with everything you said. Both of you at the same time. Well, I was typing out to RSJ Fan. RSJ Fan says, I already bought Final Fantasy 16 Complete Edition. Yes, and I was texting
I hope
Assassin.
Xbox fans support Square with FF16 and FF7.
There are
Because if they
200
don't,
reviews.
then...
There are 200 reviews on Xbox. That doesn't mean that there are only 200 players, but it has a solid 5 stars on Xbox right now. I think a lot of people were really excited that it's there. So,
Oh, yeah.
either way.
And plus, there's going to be a lot of double dippers.
Plus,
Maybe
exactly.
even triple dippers.
Plus, what I was going to say to Becca here, there in chat, I might just end up getting it. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna save up some money, and I am gonna get Final Fantasy 16 and 7. I'm gonna get like the ultimate deluxe, super duper big bang edition or whatever. I was waiting to hear about a physical edition, but
Watch them announce a physical as soon as he
he.
buys it.
Dude, I would be so mad. I went today. I was so desperate today. I went on Xbox AI chat support. I was like, let me just ask AI. Because you know how, remember whenever, what was it recently? Wasn't it Oblivion Remastered? Where someone typed into AI chat and they're like, hey, AI. And they were like, yeah, Oblivion Remaster is set to launch whatever. Wasn't it Oblivion Remaster and the AI was one that like gave it away or whatever?
The AI response. Yeah, the AI response.
So I tried that. I tried
that.
that. I was like, let me go. And I was like, hey, Xbox, when is Final Fantasy 16 releasing its physical version? And they're like, shut up. I was like, okay. Every time I tried to word it like 15 different ways. Like I was like 3 different ways. And they were like, we don't have any information about that. I'm like, okay. I was like, when does Final Fantasy 7 release physical edition on Xbox? They're like, we don't have any. You should go check the store. I'm like, I no shit. I'm gonna check the store. I was like, when does Oblivion Remaster physical come out? And they're like, please stop. Please go away. I just couldn't get the AI to do what people did before. But so yeah. I said all that to say, I'm definitely gonna save up some money, and I'm going to get Final Fantasy 16 and 7. Obviously, that's not out yet, but I'm really, really, really excited to play those because I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. I'm like a fake fan. Over the years, Final Fantasy. Well, I guess we'll just jump into this now. I didn't even give my Xbox Showcase games, but we're so off the it doesn't matter. We're talking about RPGs now. Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 7 coming to Xbox. 16's already out. 7's coming in November, December. Really, really happy about this. I like a lot of us, I grew up playing Final Fantasy games, playing Kingdom Hearts, stuff like that. Just a lot of JRPGs. I watched Dragon Ball Z and Naruto growing up. So a lot of like the anime, Western, Eastern. Thank you. All of that like culture. So I was like, where are we right now? All of those like the uwu stuff, the things that a lot of people that don't watch anime are uncomfortable with. I sort of have grown up with that. There's a lot of that I am uncomfortable with, even as a fan of that. But things like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto, Final Fantasy games, they never cross that line. They have never crossed that line for me. Sometimes I'm like, but I'm like, whatever, and it's over with, and I'm back into the game. Final Fantasy 16 is the one that I was like, this is the Final Fantasy game that I have been waiting for since I turned into an adult, since I was 18 years old. Now, just something more grittier and darker as a Final Fantasy game. And that's what this one looks like. So I know a lot of people, RSJ fans, said they already bought it. And guys, let me know.
And that's when Sony hit you with the exclusive.
And that's when Sony said, fuck you, you're not getting it. I'm like, are you serious? Final Fantasy VII released in 2027, or 2027, in 2020, Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm like jumping into the future. I don't know what's happening right now.
He's already
And-
predicting future exclusive contracts, guys.
Exactly. 2027 Final Fantasy Revolution
It's
7.
possible.
You never know.
Hey, Red,
You
how
never know.
funny would it be? How funny
yeah.
would it be if Remake and Rebirth launched, they finally got their Switch 2, Xbox ports. The first two games are everywhere, all 4 major platforms, and then Square announces Part 3 and it's PlayStation timed exclusive.
Oh my god. I mean, I don't know. What do y'all think about that?
I would
Because
be like, what is the wait for?
that's what I'm saying. What is the wait
Then
for?
why
Because
did you do it?
we're expecting Final Fantasy 7 releasing later this year, Part 2 next year, and then Part 3 releasing day and date everywhere, right? Doesn't that make sense? Why would they stagger the
And then
release at this point? And
then
what
Sony
is going on
cockblocks all
with
of you.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask. Like, what, I don't know, DeMarco, what do you think about this? Like, Square Enix is like, they're out of first party. They're done with PlayStation's exclusivity because they're not making enough money. Square Enix is notorious for never being happy with their numbers, ever. And ever since they had this exclusivity deal, I just saw a couple comparative charts or whatever over the past like 8 years. Square Enix wasn't happy with Final Fantasy VII's release, even though it was exclusive. These are the PlayStation people who were saying, "Go out and buy it. You better support it because it did really well." Apparently, it didn't do well enough in Square Enix's charts or whatever. Final Fantasy 16 didn't sell as well as they thought it would either. And then there's a couple other games you could probably help me out with that, Assassin. It didn't meet their expectations or whatever. Foam Stars, which was just Forspoken for spanking. Yeah, that game.
Well,
and then
those
Foam
games.
Stars.
Can
Yeah,
we
those
count
games had
those?
issues. Yes. So, anyway, and now they're gonna go. I believe that Final Fantasy VII Part 3 is gonna release everywhere at the same time. And now I don't know about the internal deals, but I don't know. What do you think about that, DeMarco? You think it's gonna release everywhere? Part 3.
They're not happy with their sales numbers. They're not going to get that by maintaining exclusivity. Their only path forward is multi-plat. That's
Right.
It's their only option, right? That's the only other option they are left with. That, or maybe you can argue, well, now that $80 games are out the box, if they just start charging $80, because the fact is, if you do the math on, right, how much, if you have, let's just say, 1 million copies of a game sold at $80 versus 1 million copies sold at $60. That is a huge difference. So when we talk about the $80 discussion, it's something I don't think gets brought up that often, which is to say that there's a lot of incentive for studios because they don't need to sell nearly as many to make the same amount of money. So copies. So maybe Square Enix looks at that and says, well, actually, now that we only need to sell, 80% of what we once did to make the same amount, honestly, let's just keep it. And plus, we get that nice Sony check, that beautiful Sony check. Let's keep it. But ultimately, I think that they're going to go third party at the end of the day, or they're just going to cut back on their exclusivity, right? So, you said it's been 5 years, so they'll go, no, we're only going to do a year, and then we're putting it on other platforms.
It's like, please. Like,
And-
I've always said this before. Sorry, Red, to cut you off, but
No, you're good.
I've always said that
my God,
all
we
third-party
need to try this
publishers,
again.
all third-party studios should have their games on all platforms that they can. Xbox, PlayStation, PC, or Nintendo Switch if you can. I know the Switch isn't as powerful as the other three. I've always believed that third parties shouldn't have exclusives. As far as first party though, like your main concern is your platform. You're not trying to sell to everyone else. You're just trying to make sure that your platform is safe and healthy. Obviously, you should care that third-party games do sell well on your platform, because if not, then, well, they may consider taking the games off. They may consider taking exclusivity deals. But I hope that when Part 3 comes out, I hope that they announce it for all 4. Because I'm gonna be honest, if they announce Part 3 is a PlayStation exclusive, like, yeah, I'm gonna play it because I have a PlayStation, but honestly, I would feel really upset for everyone else. Like, you're porting all these old games to all these platforms, and you're not even gonna try and break your deal with Sony to, like, release it everywhere. Like, you can take the hit because you got 4 fan bases that are probably going to give you enough money to recoup that and then some. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm not a fan of third-party exclusivity, regardless of who's the one signing for it. I don't like it when Microsoft does it. Don't like it when Nintendo does it. I do not like it when Sony does it.
You know what else people don't like?
Wukong.
Mindseye. They
Yes.
really don't like Mindseye.
I just saw Maddie's video just came out. I'm sure you got the notification. I was like, oh boy.
It is currently sitting at 38% of the 408 user reviews of this game are positive. 38% positive.
Jesus. Jeez. Oh shit! Here we go.
Let me give you. Do we want to move on to this, or do we want to stick on Final Fantasy?
I will just end on this. I am so happy that now someone put out a thing. The Xbox and PC now own. There are 19 games now officially on PC and Xbox for Final Fantasy games. It's 18 now. It'll be 19 once Final Fantasy 7 releases. I'm just happy that this is ending because the more games, the better. Especially with games with this incredible pedigree. Final Fantasy might not be for everyone, but it should be accessible to everyone. It's just a strange thing to be locked away exclusivity, so I'm glad that Final Fantasy 16 is out there. Go check it out. If you're new to Final Fantasy, this actually might be the one for you to check out. If you're a big boy or girl and you like the more mature tone, this might be the one. And yeah, I'm really excited for it, and I am going to get it when I am able to get it. But yeah, let's move on. Mindseye, the new big hit from Lynn's
from IO Interactive.
Well, it's not IO. They're partnered with them. It's not them though. And here's the thing: 500-person team. It's not IO Interactive. It's the team. It's a 500-person team behind.
Red, don't you know? You don't just blame the studio. You also blame the publisher. That's the rule.
I don't. I mean, we can. I love IO Interactive, and they haven't.
I mean, you can't you blame Insomniac, you gotta blame Sony. You blame Obsidian, you gotta blame Microsoft. That's the whole thing, my friend.
I don't know. I feel like it's either oversight or just the lack of oversight.
I'm just kidding, by the way.
Or lack of.
I'm pretty sure IO knows what was going on, but yeah, this is
build a robot.
All right, so I want to go through some good reviews and some negative reviews.
Yeah,
just
let's
a couple.
Do it.
So. First negative, well, I'll save that one because that one's a good, funny one. This one's like a fair one, I think. Fair negative review. Raise a glass to everyone who took the risk to form their own opinion of this game. Good for them.
Mm-hmm.
This person has 2 hours on record, which is about what most people have at this point that are leaving reviews. I genuinely wanted Build a Rocket Boy to pull this off. Sadly, it plays like crap. It has that typical Unreal Engine feel to it. The story is somewhat interesting, but the gameplay is unplayable, nowhere near optimized. They said, I wish this wasn't the case, but I'm going to refund this. It's got that typical bad Unreal Engine, and every time devs skip proper optimization in Unreal, the games end up with the same problems. It's like a pattern. That person was playing on an RTX 4090. Damn. I truly have another negative. I have truly no idea who playtested this game, but they need to be fired. Story seems pretty okay. I played for the hour I played, but some stupid things make me feel like the game was not tested. For example, when I'm driving a vehicle up a hill and your camera goes down almost into the floor. Cool. Here's another one.
Perfect. That's my
favorite. This is my favorite negative one. Man, this game is badass. And by badass, I mean it's bad and it's ass. Game devs need to stop using frame generation as a crutch. Use it as a benefit only after you get your stuff together. For people who want a little bit extra if they can. Instead, you use it, and so, bad review. Some positive ones.
Okay.
Here we go. I think everyone is being overly harsh on the game. First, it was never promised to be a GTA clone / competitor. From the interviews and trailer, I was promised a 15-hour story-driven third-person shooter that has driving sections. This is their first game. I was willing to give it a fair shake, and an hour in, I think the gameplay's okay. Not bad, but not great either. The shooting lacks a lot of punch when fighting the enemies, but the cover system and gunplay work. Art direction, music, and voice acting, which I did see a couple about the voice acting and performances, as a positive.
Okay.
I liken the story structure similar to Remedy's Quantum Break and Battlefield Hardline. It plays a lot like a TV show with the gameplay intertwined as set pieces. Performance, there's a bit of jank running on an AMD RX 90 XT. I had to do some tinkering to have the game run at a stable frame rate. And limit jitters and flickering during cutscenes, which is not something you want in your game ever, especially as a PC player. Jittering, stuttering, flickers. Can't stand any of those.
Did you write these reviews?
All of them.
Okay. Go ahead.
And I've also been playing. I've also been playing since the stream started, so I could get about 2 hours on record.
Okay, good. Yep. Yeah, go ahead.
So,
this is
ultimately,
great.
people say like, not polished. Game is in a terrible state. Music is good. Voice acting's good. Performances are good. Cutscenes are fine. A story seems fine.
Yeah.
Gameplay and performance and visuals, in some regards,
Yeah.
absolute.
You mentioned something that
garbage.
was my biggest takeaway. Every single time that I ever saw anything from Mindseye, you mentioned that someone said the lack of punch when it came to weapons.
Shooting.
Every single time that I've ever seen. Number one, I don't know what the hell the game is about because all they've ever
It just
shown
looks like
is
they're going.
Mindseye. Yes, exactly. You're just going. Brrr. There is no like. There is none of that. It's like you're shooting like a BB gun at everyone. Like, and that's why everyone have made the comparisons of like this looks like a 2010 360 shooter game, which that would have been fine, 15 years ago. The times have changed, and it's just strange to me. Every time that they have shown Mindseye, I don't know what the fuck the game is about. I all it is like, and this is Mindseye, the guy from Mafia, but now he's 5'5" and he's not actually black anymore for what. Now again, that has nothing to do with anything, but he looks totally different. I don't know if this is. I know it's the same guy, but I'm like, is that what he actually looked like? I'm being totally serious here because in Mafia 3, this actor, he's a black man and he's like 6'4" or whatever, right? And in this game, they made him maybe look like what he actually looks like in real life. So it made me like, what the hell did they do in Mafia 3, or what the hell did they do in Mindseye? So I'm sure that the performance is there because him as Lincoln Clay was incredible. But then I'm like, why didn't you just? Anyway, that's a whole other thing. I'm like, what's going on with the actor? But also every time that they've shown this guy, don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying, why does after seeing Lincoln Clay and then seeing this guy in this game, I'm like, why does he look so much different? Did they take liberties and make him look? Does he look accurate in real life in Mindseye, and then they took liberties in Mafia 3 to make him look like they wanted him to look, or is it vice versa? That was one thing, okay? Because everyone was like, "It's Lincoln Clay," and I'm like, "Oh, it is, isn't it?" But then every time that they have shown the game, I don't know what the hell the game is because they're like, "It's Mindseye. There's an eye in the mind, and there's a desert, and there's a city, and watch all this shooting. 3 minutes of shooting, and that's all it's ever been." And they're like, "Here's a special look at Mindseye. All special official launch trailer." And it's Lincoln Clay's character. I don't know the actor's name. And he's like, "We've got a mind to eye." And it's just the same thing over. I'm like, does it have side activities? This is developers from GTA, right? Does it have side activities? Is it immersive? Is it something that can you go out to clubs and like hang out? Or is it just literally? Is that the whole game? I don't know, guys. I don't understand. Jonah says it's acting, Red. He can look like whatever. Am I misunderstanding what you're talking about? No, I'm just saying. You can.
I'll
see
give you guys
that, like,
the short
his
version.
face...
He's mad that he's not black.
No, I'm just confused. It literally has.
He
nothing
wants
to do with
David
anything.
Harewood and Alan Wake 2 to be white. He wants.
Right. I want
He wants
Warland
Alan Wake
Dorer.
to be Alice Wake.
Exactly. I want Alan to be. I don't even gonna do it now. That was just like a side thing. Whenever we first saw the actor, all I was saying is that whenever we first saw the actor, I was like, everyone was like, that's clearly Lincoln Clay. But I'm like, then why does he look like, you can see it kind of, but why does he look different? So I was like, is Lincoln Clay in Mafia 3 what he actually looks like? And then in this game they're like, we're gonna make you not look like that. But which game took liberties? I guess I'm just curious. I'm just curious about it. American Fury, if you could say something to make me feel better, that'd be great. Thanks. Fuzzy Tomato said, I think they want the side content to be community driven. They are supposedly putting it. Oh, that's right, man. That's a great point. Fuzzy Tomato is saying that essentially they're doing this, like, they're setting up the game to be. They have this huge city, this huge open desert, this huge. Thank you, American Fury. They have this huge open world. Well, I assume it's huge and it's an open world, but they're giving players tools to essentially mod the game to make it whatever the hell that they want to do, that they want it to be. I think that's bad practice. At least whenever Bethesda releases a game, there's hundreds of hours of content there that you can engage with, and then people just continuously add on. We're going to change the leather to be black leather instead of brown leather, or we're going to add a new sword, or we're going to add, under the hood systems to the game, like disabling fast travel as an example. With this game, I don't really know what they could add because I don't know what actual game is there. It seems so surface level 2010, and I'm not just bandwagoning on this. I don't know what the hell this game is. So that's why I'm not going to buy it. I don't know what it is. Like, nothing grabbed me. Like, I can't wait to play this game and to drive around and take on the side quests that allow you to be a hitman, or like, I can't wait to, like, immerse myself in the world and like buy a property, like buy a house and customize the house, or car customization. All I've seen is the game is just a third-person shooter. That's it. Sorry. I know I'm yelling, and I'm sorry. I'm not yelling at you guys. I love you. But go ahead, Assassin. What do you think?
Honestly, I could not care less. I was just going through my wish list on my PlayStation. I had Mindseye wishlisted, just in case it was good. I'm so glad I didn't put down a pre-order for that game. It's just, they didn't send out review codes to the media. They didn't give any out to content creators either, even ones that were covering the game specifically for them. Or just on that game. Everything about it screamed red flag for the past month. I just did not care. Like, if it was going to be a breakout hit, then I would have cared. But the writing was kind of already on the wall. This is kind of like, it's basically 2025's the day before. You know how they released that, like, I think like a year and a half ago on PC? It was basically a scam.
Yeah.
On PC, it was kind of like
it was
The Last of Us.
100% a scam. Yeah.
Yeah. That's basically what this is. I'm so upset that IO got dragged into this. Like, I really have nothing.
For what it's worth, I
to say
think
on
they'll walk out. I think they'll walk out unscathed. To be honest, it's all gonna go to the developer, Builder Rocket Boy.
That's yeah.
I'm not saying that IO
correlation between, because everyone loves to correlate studios and publishers when a game fails.
I think IO isn't really known as like a publisher though. You know, like they're known as the Hitman developers, right? Yeah,
they're now doing James Bond, which looks good, by the way.
Looks really good.
Right, Red?
Looks
Now it's third person, even though it should mainly be first person.
Yeah, so Fuzzy Tomato says some of the studio executives. I was intentional. It's IOI Interactive. IO Interactive, which is the I part of the, So IOI is the paraphrase, I can't speak tonight. Fuzzy Tomato says some of the studio executives left a week or two ago, like a week before the game launched. The biggest red flag I've ever seen. Yes, exactly. So many people said that.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Yeah. So anyway, Mindseye. I know. Colt was talking about, like, he's optimistic. He wanted to play it. I think. Oh, Game Seeker, what's up, man? Thank you for being here. I think Game Seeker actually tried it. So Game Seeker, tell me what you think about Mindseye, because I know a lot of people were like, let's give it the benefit of the doubt. But it just doesn't seem like it's living up to. Again, even the reviews that you read, DeMarco, no one's talking about the things that you can do. They're just talking about like the surface level stuff. I don't know.
Performance is bad. The gameplay is vanilla, generic, and the game is generic. It's just generic. It's generic.
And no
and
one's saying things like, really love the car customization, but the gameplay is really rough. Really love the side missions where you can do. Really love. But it's like there's none of that. What is the game? What is the game? KLZ 180.
It's a story-driven third-person shooter.
And the worst part of it is
with some open sections. That's what it is.
Mindseye is getting PlayStation exclusive benefits.
Like a physical edition?
No, they're getting the exclusive day one patch.
The exclusive day one patch. I love that.
I mean, it's true. Xbox is not getting a day one patch for that game. PlayStation is, though.
That's great. That's great. KLZ 180. I am keen to try Mindseye, but I'm gonna wait till it's cheaper. It looks interesting to me, but I will wait later when it's on sale. And honestly, I might too, man. I might wait until whenever it's like $20, $30. I will look into it then. I'm not saying that like it's terrible. I mean, we see this all the time in today's market where publishers are pushing release dates. They want their money right now, and then
you're just upset that the
5
main
months
character
later,
changed the skin for this game.
Right, and then 5 months later, what?
You were like, yeah, and it's like, wait, what did he say?
Yeah,
what did I
Game
just
Seeker
agree
says
to?
I haven't played it yet. Oh, sorry, Seeker. I thought you had played it. I saw you tweet a screenshot or something. I thought that was your screenshot, or maybe I don't know what I thought. But anyway, shout out to you by the way, bro. We haven't talked in a while. I hope you're doing good. Lotus Esprit says I'm curious if it's like Saints Row with side missions and cut. No, I don't think it has any of that. Then that's my point. That's my point. But shout out to those devs. Real quick, let's get into the last thing here. ROG Ally X. This is sort of like the first handheld that I've seen like a lot of hype around since the Steam Deck. It can play all of your native. It can natively play all of your digital games if you sign in with your.
You can natively download it, but you play it
Xbox.
from the cloud.
Right, so you can remote play, and you can also play natively, download the games to the device, and play them natively there, right?
I'm pretty sure you download natively, and then you just play from a cloud version of the game, which cloud is pretty unreliable.
Wait,
so
that makes sense. Why would you download natively and then play from the cloud? That makes no sense.
I don't know, man. That's just what I saw from Jed. Maybe I misunderstood it.
I don't think that's. I think that it is. You play like an optimized
Download it
version.
natively or play it through the cloud.
That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah, like so,
Yeah.
so
Like
you
it
can
have
play it.
multiple storefronts. That
Right,
I
so
know.
you have cloud gaming, remote play, and then native play. I think that is what this device is capable of.
So here's the shtick with the ROG Xbox Ally is it's an Xbox branded ROG. It's not doing anything different than what it currently can, and this is what Holly was explaining when I was streaming the Xbox Game Showcase, and I was like, oh, there's the Xbox handheld, and Holly saw it and was watching, and she was explaining, no, it's the exact same as what you can already do. Having multiple storefronts, that's already possible. That's not new. That's not exclusive to this. The difference, and the only difference, is that Xbox and Microsoft really, is working hard to ensure that the operating system and the Microsoft integration runs smoother. So typically what happens right now is there's a lot of bloat, and that slows down the system, and that impacts the performance and other aspects of the machine and the device. So they're trying to improve that. But additionally, the only actual substantial difference is that now you have access to not even all, but a larger portion of your Xbox library, because Microsoft and Xbox are making it a priority to emphasize the Play Anywhere part of Play Anywhere. And that includes not just first-party games or not just the already included games in the platform, but the majority of them. Now, what they're running into early on is licensing rights, because there's a reason why games are not available on every single platform currently if you buy them through the Xbox Store. That's what Microsoft wants. That's not necessarily what other publishers want. They want to make sure that their games stay on respective platforms, and ideally, especially for a company you think like Rockstar, they want you to buy it multiple times. So not just buying it through Xbox and then also playing it online. In that case, you would buy it through Xbox, and then you'd also have to buy it through the Steam store if you want to play it in both places, or you'd have to buy it on the PC version of Xbox, right? So that is the only difference. There are probably some hardware improvements, right? They didn't release all of the in-depth specs as far as I know about the device, but I would like to imagine that there's going to be better battery life, hopefully. That there's, they had two versions, one that had additional memory and one that had less memory, one that had 1 terabyte of storage and one with less storage. So there's differences in the models. The battery life is going to be sort of a big thing to watch in my honest opinion, because that's the major problem with handhelds. But otherwise, you can just go buy an ROG Ally. If that looked good to you and you were like, wow, that looked amazing, you can go buy an ROG Ally and get the same experience.
Well said. Yeah, and that was actually sort of my question too, was like, you're a marketing guy, DeMarco. This is your full-time job is marketing. This device, the thing that got me was, it's got an Xbox thing attached to it. The Xbox handle looks like an Xbox handle for the Xbox
the buttons
controller.
are XYBA.
This looks more like a thing that I'm familiar with. And then people go,
the
but
joysticks are in the right places.
They're offset. Right, it's like everything about it was like, I'm familiar
marketing.
with this, and then you look at it let's just cut out all the bias. Let's compare it to what we've seen before, and that is exactly what I was curious about. Like, what can this thing do differently other than it just being more comfortable? And I said it in the Discord earlier, I think yesterday or whenever I said it, because Red Hood, Bino Red Hood was saying, I'm really excited for this. Actually looks really cool. And I'm like, you know what? I am too, because it looks like it's more comfortable, and comfortability for me with gaming is king. That's why, and like, I'm trying to set up my PC setup to be more like a console, because I want to just press a button and everything works. So with this handheld, I'm like, I'm trying to be really responsible here, because this device is going to be at least like $900 to $1,000. There's no doubt about it. Even the ROG Ally now that we have, isn't it like $700, $800 already? So this thing could be $1,000 easy. But yeah, I just think people should.
The ROG Ally X, the 1 terabyte model, is priced at $899. The 2 terabyte model costs $1,000.
Jesus.
That was after price increases of $100. So they also went through a price hike, which is just insane that this generation went through price hikes and not price decreases. But hey, everyone's like, I'll just play it through Game Pass. I'll spend more money. Corporation, please.
Right, exactly. Game Seeker says, I'm curious if this boots to the Xbox UI by bypassing desktop loading will come prior to ROG Ally. And BT Maverick says it boots right into the Xbox operating system. Game Seeker says apparently it frees up 2 gigabytes of RAM not having the Windows 11 desktop running.
Yeah. So there's definitely able to limit the bloat on the hardware, which is a benefit. But honestly, I think for the average consumer, like for the people that are going to look at this and go, "Oh my God, it's an Xbox handheld," and they think it's like an actual Xbox handheld. For that consumer base that will get duped by that is the same people who would not notice the 2 extra bits of RAM or memory, excuse me, that they get while using the device. Right? That's not the audience.
Right. Assassin, do you care about this handheld device? It's all digital. It's a Game Pass machine.
Honestly, no. Not because I don't care about, the convenience. I just don't have a need for a handheld. The reason why I got a Switch, I wouldn't have gotten the Switch 2 if it was handheld only, honestly. But I just don't have a reason to have a handheld. I don't have a long commute. I don't travel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I just prefer to just sit on the couch and just play games the traditional way.
Right. If you don't travel, and I'm with you. Like, I travel a lot.
I don't have a
whenever
long commute
it is traveling season. Like this, right? Like we're almost done with wedding season. We're almost done traveling. But it's like It's like 4 months out of the year or something, or 5 months out of the year, like if that. And so why would I spend $1,000 just for convenience to play something for a half an hour or whatever? It's a very what is the market for this? I guess it's what the fuck is the word for it? It's people that are locked into the brand. They want to own all the things labeled Xbox, labeled PlayStation, labeled ASUS. Yeah, it's the people that like. There's a term for it. I suck so bad with terminology.
Fanboy.
But it's no. It's just the people the enthusiasts. It's the enthusiasts. That's what I was looking for. It's the people that.
All right.
They want to they want everything to be accessible, whether they're out of their home, whether they're in their home, whether they're in their office or on their phone. Didn't mean to make that rhyme, but I did. It's those people that are interested in this ecosystem. Not just the ecosystem, but it's the people that are investing into the ecosystem on all platforms. So, handhelds, PC, phone, everything is an Xbox, and this is Microsoft's strategy right now. So, anyway, the more that I talk about it, I am interested to have it for convenience, but it's so expensive, man. I already have this PC that's amazing. It's incredible. Like, I've already spent so much money.
Watch it be $1,200.
Probably.
You'd be better off. Listen, you'd be better off just getting you'd be better off just saving the different. Now, unless you really need the portability, right? Then it makes sense. But honestly, you're just better off saving a little bit. If you can afford that much for that handheld, then you could wait a little while, save up a little extra money, and get a really high quality, high-end PC that can run all these games that you want at a higher performance. Unless you really need the handheld. But honestly, if you're handheld gaming, then I would argue that, and I'm not in the market for a handheld, so I'm not the target audience, but I would argue if you really need the handheld that bad, then you're probably willing to compromise on performance a little bit and fidelity. So get a cheaper handheld than a $1,000 one that maybe can't play at the higher frame rate or at the better visuals, but save money.
You forgot to say that you question their financial responsibilities, but okay.
No, listen, it's whatever. Like, you can spend your money how you want, ultimately, but I just think there's better deals out there.
There definitely is. Yeah. And there is a market for it, but this is, again, enthusiast level stuff, in my opinion. Yeah. That's all.
I don't know. People are throwing around. I see BT says 600, the white version for 600. Fuzzy says it's probably like 500. 700. The white version is at least minimum 700, and I would even then say it's probably 800.
You have to remember, whenever Microsoft does something good, they always have to have something bad with it. So it's going to be it's probably going to be 900 for the cheaper one. It's probably going to be 1,200 for the more expensive. Just remember that Microsoft loves to step on rakes.
These companies do not want to eat the cost of the platform anymore, and they can't afford to. Well, they can. Microsoft is like the biggest company in America, as far as worth, but they don't want to take on the hardware loss. They want to finally have the opportunity to make profit on these whether it's console or handheld, and they realize that people will pay, right? The Switch is, as far as I know, is doing fine.
If Microsoft really wants more money, then just stop making hardware. Just stop doing it. Just start selling your games everywhere.
Well, they're already selling games everywhere, and now they're able to sell their.
No, but if they really want to bribe them, if they really want to jump up the profit margins, then just stop making consoles.
No, right?
Yes.
Assassin. No,
Yes.
no, Assassin. No, because that makes zero sense.
They're losing money by making it.
That's what they're trying to turn around. They're trying to decrease the loss, if have a loss at all, because honestly, I think that they're selling this hardware at this point. When you're selling a console for like $800-900, now they're very, very close to breaking, if not breaking even, but they get the advantage of being able to sell first party, so they're not profit sharing with, even if they sell on PC. Well, PC is a bit different, but even if they're selling on PlayStation, they're not giving 30% away to another company. If they're selling on their own hardware, they get 100% of that revenue. Plus, they still get the benefit of third party that they'll be able to make on their platform. So they fully have incentive to keep making consoles. There's no reason for them to stop making hardware. I know that a lot of people think that they're going to move in that direction. Honestly, most likely not. I don't see it, but that's not what you're saying. Is not an argument to stop making hardware because they're breaking even on it at this point. They're going to lose money in the long run if they're not making 100%, or rather 100% on their own games, or 30% on third-party games. They're losing money. They still want that revenue.
They'll make it back. They got Game Pass. They got more ways.
Game Pass is not going to make up the difference. They're going to Game Pass. Listen, Game Pass at a certain point is going to plateau on subscribers. Then they're going to be in real trouble because now they've plateaued on subscribers, and then additionally, now they're not making the revenue from being able to sell third-party games on their platform, as well as, again, at this point, these companies do not want to take losses on the hardware anymore. So, is $800 making a profit if they sell the next-gen Xbox at $800? If they sell it at $900, are they making a profit? Maybe they're just really cutting the margin a lot closer. Maybe there's still a little bit of a loss. I don't know, but I'm sure there's someone out there who does.
Game Pass, right? If they really want to make more money, then just be done with it all.
No, the solution to make more money is to offer all of these points of access. If they want to maximize their revenue, they offer Game Pass for people who are budget conscious, who don't want to spend $80. They sell hardware so that they can make the 30% profit, or whatever it is, I'm assuming it's 30%, on third-party games sold on their platform. So they make revenue there. They make 100% if they're selling their first-party games. So they don't have to profit share. And then they also get the sales from $80 for people who just want to outright buy their games. So now they have all streams of revenue coming to them. Now, some of those streams are going to be less profitable than others. That's just an inevitability. But Red, go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lotus. I was like laughing at something, and then Lotus, thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. To Fuzzy Tomato, who's here right now. C. Mesler, Joseph Lemons, Kill a Curve Games, and Sith Lord. Sith Lord, I know you. Did you say, are you lurking? Are you lurking? Thank you so much, Lotus. That is so nice. You're so generous as always. Really, really appreciate you. Really, really appreciate that. Yeah, Biff Rinaldi says, what would they put Game Pass on if they don't have hardware? And I jokingly said PlayStation.
PlayStation and Nintendo Switch.
Which, yeah, exactly. Which, hey, let's.
You want consistent?
More games.
You want consistent monthly revenue? Screw Xbox fans, like you're doing with the physical games. Put Game Pass on PlayStation and Nintendo. You got 2 more sources of revenue. Plus PC players.
You gotta drop with the physical games. That's a market thing. That's not an Xbox thing.
I know. I'm losing
then
on
why
that.
is PlayStation and Nintendo not doing it, DeMarco?
They're going to, because PlayStation does everything slow.
Yeah.
But,
they're always behind.
Already, if you buy PlayStation games, the game is not on the disc.
Yeah, we just talked about PlayStation.
For those who don't know, we talked about this last night, or more or less, me and Jonas talked about it.
Whether you're on PlayStation or obviously
DeMarco
PC
is just like that referee
Xbox.
that just comes in and it's like, hey, no. And then he dips out.
Go ahead, DeMarco.
Yeah. Whether you're on PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo Switch, the game is not... Even Nintendo Switch, the game is not on the physical thing you buy.
Yeah.
You're buying a box to put on your wall. I am sorry. It's not a happy reality.
I know. And in my argument, it's a key.
And I don't like that. I don't like that.
If you don't like it, then support it.
It doesn't matter if I support it. It's already over. That is an already lost battle. It's done. It is kaput. The only alternative The only alternative is they start selling you like these proprietary USB drives. So if you want to be spending $120 per game, base price of the game, because they got to make this special device that can house the entire file size, which nobody is going to do that. Well, there's going to be some people out there who do it, right? Don't deal in absolutes like that, right? There's going to be people who do it.
Siths.
But no Sith here.
Yep.
But I say kaput. I'm German. I'm German. I say kaput.
There we go.
Wait a second, you're German and Italian? I feel
Yes.
like that's a conflict of interest.
What are you, an old Jewish man? I'm also Jewish. But like,
I mean,
But
I
like,
believe
by-
you.
Wait,
like
you're German and Jewish? I feel like
Like,
that's a
I-
conflict of interest.
He's Germish.
by technicality, right? Because
German.
I think I'm not religious, so I apologize if I'm butchering people's religion. But I believe you inherit it through like your grandmother's side, right? Is how that works, and then
Wait, what are we talking about here?
Are we talking about Jesus?
Judaism.
Oh, I was like, take me to church. Yeah, I didn't know what was happening. But
Yeah,
listen, I believe you.
I'm German, Italian, and Jewish. But raised Christian.
You're Michelin.
So, but raised Christian. So anyway,
there we go.
no matter what platform you play on,
Childish.
the game is not on the discs anymore. It's not. So
Right.
that's not a matter of and I know earlier in the show I was saying, oh well, defeatism isn't a good argument in relation to $80 games and Game Pass or whatever, but this is a situation where it's literally already over. It's that is how it is. That is the reality.
You mean just like how $80 games is... It's a thing.
No,
There-
it's
there
not.
is no-
It's
there is
they,
no
they
changing.
just no. Well, we're not going.
There
the
was no
reality is
change in 70.
we're not going to be able to
realize that
change.
now.
We're not going to be able to change 80. But the reality is, when a game like Expedition 33 can come out at $50, and that game can have like the
Yes.
amount of sales and success that it has, right? And players are going to be more apt to jump into a well-made $50 experience, and studios will follow the money. So they're starting to put out $80. We're still in the early phase of that. If they realize that their sales are declining, now the tricky part is their sales might decline, but their profit might go up. Because again, we just talked about $80 games in like over the course of 1 million players is a massive difference than $60 games. So they might see lower sales, but they see increased profits. So they go, okay, $80 games is working. However,
Hey, Red.
Yep.
Mass Effect 5. It's $100. But you get Shepard back.
Day one.
You
it's
playing
gonna be
it?
80. Mass Effect 5 will probably be 80. It's EA. It's going to be $80.
No,
Yeah.
it's going to be 100 because it's EA. You just, yep.
And if
EA
you
will-
if you
I don't
say
think
EA will put
EA
any price on
backwards, if you say EA backwards, it's AE, which rhymes with AT, and so it's just logic.
Red.
Red.
No, Red. This is EA we're talking about. This is one of the worst companies.
No, if it's
Ever.
going to be if the first $100 game is going to
I'm
come
just saying a
either from
hypothetical. I'm just saying hypothetically.
gonna come
Red.
from
Would you pay
Nintendo?
$100 for the next Mass Effect?
or it's going to come from Rockstar or 2K.
There you go. Oh, your lights came off.
Or Activision?
Yeah.
True 70 says I'm insubordinate and churlish. I get.
Answer
that
my
reference.
question, Red.
Oh, sorry. What was your question?
Are you buying Mass Effect 5 at $100?
Are you buying Mass
That's
Effect
what it
5
comes
for
down to.
$100?
If Shepard is back, then yes.
Shepard's in it.
See, that just, yep.
Oh man.
As long as gamers get what they want, they're gonna pay a price no matter how much it is.
I don't know, man.
Yes, well,
that's
that's-
not
so
fair.
that's the pro-
Like,
that's the
okay, how
problem.
about this? What's
That-
your four?
that's the
I already
problem.
know what.
Right
I
there.
already know. Me. Look at me.
Let Shepard die.
I am.
Let Shepard rest in
Shepard.
peace.
Shepard's coming back. I'm
He's
telling
like,
you.
he's gonna be a corpse in 5. He's like, I just want to die. Let me go back to
watch Paragon 7 and N7 Kate's videos. They're so great. In Paragon 7, I don't know how the hell she does. I don't know. You know who Paragon 7 is, DeMarco? I think we talked about her before. I just want to shout her out again. Paragon 7 on YouTube. Let me bring up her channel right here. This is what her thing looks like. her YouTube thing. I mean, look at it. That's her right there. Okay, go subscribe to her and watch her theory videos. You will be convinced. Shepard's coming back. But True 77. I knew you knew. But the thing is, like Witcher 4, as an example, I already know what I'm getting. If Witcher 4 is $100, not getting it day one. I'm sorry, not getting it day one. And honestly, probably the same for Mass Effect. Like,
because once GTA announces $100 for GTA 6,
it's not gonna be
expecting
$100. It's gonna be 80. It's gonna be $80 with $100 plus versions, just like Ubisoft has been practicing for years and years to come.
Did you forget it's Take-Two?
But they will have that. They'll have like pre-order for the DLC that will never release or whatever it is.
The base game will be $100 and the collectors
man.
will be $300.
Sure. I mean, again, like Ubisoft has been doing for so long now. Ubisoft even had like an Outlaws. Didn't they have like a Star Wars Outlaws version for like $120? And people were like, "Yep, love Star Wars, buying that." Really? I don't know. Mr. Holta.
By the time Elder Scrolls 6 comes out,
Mr.
base games will be $100. Game Pass will be $50 a month.
It's the same principle with it's the same principle with microtransactions. It follows the same logic, right? These companies realize with microtransactions that they can put one out there, right? Splitgate just got criticized for this. They had an $80 microtransaction in the game. Now they cut it down, they cut it out, and they lowered it to $40. Very generous that you're selling like a couple skins in your game for the same price as Tainted Grail, which has cooler skins in the game, but I digress. They realize that they need just a handful of people that are willing, and this has been long known, this isn't new. They need a handful of whales to buy that $40 skin. And they don't care about someone like me. Because there's more than enough whales out there that will support the entire lifetime of me never buying a single thing. And a lot of people like me who don't want to buy a single thing.
Didn't
even
you
in a
pay
free-to-play
for a skin
game.
in Marvel Rivals?
No.
Didn't you break that?
No.
I'm
never
pretty sure
paid.
you did.
No, I didn't. I don't know
you
why
said you were going to
think
buy the Venom twerking one.
Okay, good joke.
No, but seriously, didn't you buy one, or was that
No.
Red or Arcane that I'm thinking of?
No. Anybody else besides me. I have never bought a premium skin in a game.
He's going back to double check his Steam records.
I'm like thinking,
I've never bought it.
A premium? You mean like day one, like before I've played the game, bought like the premium edition or whatever? I've done that.
No, not the premium edition of game. Like a skin. Like in a free to play game, you buy a skin for a character.
Oh yeah. I've done that. I've done that a couple times.
I have never done it, but it doesn't
it's
matter
like
that I don't do it.
$7. Like I've never gone. I've
But
never
it's
spent
like
like
$5.
$20.
But I can buy that. You're telling $5 for one skin. But what it's doing is that's showing companies that the value of, like, for example, look at a Dragonborn, which includes 100. I don't know what the number is, but it includes 60 new armor sets in it, right?
Yeah.
So that amounts to whatever you do, 60 divided by the $20 that it costs, and you realize that it's, I can't math in my head. I've never been able to, but it's like like 30 cents a skin per thing, right? But now you're spending $5 for one. So a company goes, "Oh, this moron over here spending $5 for a single skin. Look at this idiot. He just spent $40 for a skin. Look at him." And then they realize that they can get away with that. So it's the same principle when a studio starts charging for $100. They don't care, Assassin, that you're going to buy it on sale. They don't care that I'm not going to buy it. I'm going to wait for a sale. They do not care.
So then just don't buy the product.
That'd be great if
No,
people
no,
spoke.
Let the devs suffer.
Well,
It's
let the
not- I don't
devs
know.
suffer. I can't listen. I'm not there to support the devs. I'm there to support a good game that provides value, right? And value
Yes,
is
but without the devs, you don't have a good game.
Then what the devs do, right, is exactly what we're seeing. We're seeing a transition in the industry where these studios are now we're getting an expedition. We're seeing a flip where AA is being prioritized over a lot of AAA games. So ultimately now we're seeing this swap in the industry where I don't want to support an $80 game. Those developers, yeah, the unfortunate reality is that, listen, they're not getting laid off because people aren't buying their games. Let's just be honest. They're getting laid off because AI is replacing them, because studios are cutting back. And the reality is, if for the majority of players, I'm in the minority where I don't think I want to buy an $80 game. I can't afford to buy $80 games. I can't. I literally cannot. But there's enough people out there who can, and if the game is good enough, then people will support the $80 game. The people have spoken on that fact. So they don't. If they push the price to $100, there's still going to be folks who do that.
And Mario Kart World's Metacritic score just popped up. It's a 90 out of 100. So
Right.
People who are waiting for the review score.
So listen. People will support a good game. They'll reject a bad game, whatever the price is. As prices go up, developers are going to care, or publishers, excuse me, are going to care less and less about someone like me who is budget conscious. They don't care about me anymore. They care
so what
about
if Mass Effect 5
people.
or The Witcher 4 is a masterpiece?
I can't afford to game at that price. And as they keep pushing the price, there's going to be more and more people that fit into that bucket. But they don't care. That's what I'm getting at, is they do not care that I and a lot of other people can't afford it, because there's enough people who can. And it doesn't matter that 20% of your... It doesn't matter that 20% of your community that is budget conscious isn't buying the game at $100, because the 80% that doesn't care, the $100 price point more than makes up for the lack of sales from me and people like me. More than makes up for it. So they don't care about me anymore. And as they push to $110 and $120 and $150 for games, we just become less relevant, because those sales, eventually there will be a tipping point. There will. I don't think it's $80, if I'm being honest. People are saying it's $80. I don't think it's $80. I wish it was $80. I don't think that's
actually,
the case.
American
I wish
Fury
it was
actually brings up
70,
a good
but-
point.
I wish it
American
was
Fury
70.
actually brings up a good point. There will be more people only buying 1 or 2 games a year if it costs $80. Not just that, but I was talking with my Siege squad. I think it was like 2 days ago or so, and we were talking about how games were getting more expensive. Like we were talking about Mario Kart World. I brought up Outer Worlds 2 is like $80, and they're just like, dude, then what's the point? I'd rather just stay on Siege, because at least buying a skin every once in a while is like $15 every 3 to 6 months. I'm like,
It's this... Yep.
It'll encourage people who want to get out of this live service bubble. The people who want to jump out of it and play something different. The games are going to be too expensive, so they're going to be stuck with the game that they've been playing for years. They're not going to want to venture out.
What's going to happen? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen.
What's
going to happen is you're going to
What are you, Doctor Strange?
You're going to see these AAA games and these publishers not care. They're going to continue to raise the prices. They're going to price out people such as myself. They don't care if, like I already said, they don't care if they price out people, because the 80% or the 70% or the 60% that's still buying it at that premium price are going to make up the difference for them. So they don't care about me. Doesn't matter. Those people who are like me, if I'm a microcosm, I'm going to look at the $50 Expedition 33 experience, the Rise of the AA, and I'm going to go there. I'm going to turn my money there. And as more people start to turn their eyes and their wallets there, that side of the industry is going to continue to grow. So now you're going to have increased competition and increased pressure for the AAA developers to maintain a competitive price point, or they just try to sit in this bucket and they just try to like continue to climb this hill where they are the premium experience. That's going to become less and less true as the value of AA games goes up, but for now it's still true for the most part, right? I don't think Tainted Grail compares to what Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be. Tainted Grail's a really great experience. It doesn't compare. Tainted Grail, Expedition 33, a game of the generation for me. Doesn't compare to what GTA 6 is going to be. And, right? Fair to say. So you're gonna see that gap narrow. You're gonna see that gap narrow. But it's going to, right, you're going to see a rise in AA, a decrease in AAA, but AAA will still be fine. AA
I think what
will
Arcane
be
and I
better
talked
than
about
ever.
before needs to happen. We need a crash.
Like a good reset, like a Thanos snap of the industry. Like let's try this again.
It's
Pretty
not
much,
going to
yeah.
happen. You're not going to get a crash. You're not going to get a crash. It's never going to happen. No gamer should expect a crash. What you're going to get is these studios, if it's going to go in that direction, which I don't think it will, if it's going to go in that direction, then you're going to see they're going to go out with a whimper, not a bang. It's not going to be a crash.
Right. Like, oh, we're just gonna sort of like slowly pull away from.
I didn't say it was going to happen, DeMarco. I just said it's what we need.
Well, it
Burn it
almost
all.
happened with Xbox. If you remember, I mean, Phil Spencer famously, is the one that supposedly saved Xbox's or Microsoft gaming division, period, when he tried to convince Satya Nadella that now we can make this work. Satya Nadella is still a greedy, bald man, but that's why we're seeing this like pull away from exclusivity where Phil Spencer wanted the games. He wanted like the gamers to win. Like he wanted value with Xbox, right? But then the corporation said, we don't care. We just care about numbers. Now Satya Nadella is leaning into AI and all the things that DeMarco just mentioned. Like it almost died.
Your business
But
always
whenever
gets
it
more
was
money by
dying,
looking at numbers.
but whenever it was dying, we were looking at very slight shifts. We weren't looking at like major, massive changes. And that's why we saw the thing about like exclusivity. I'm just using this as an example, like with Phil Spencer saying, "Don't take it as a sign of things to come. 4 games, that's it, whatever." And then now it's just no more exclusivity for Xbox. It's like you said, DeMarco. It's a good point, as a whimper, not a big old crash. And I do want to say thank you to everyone hanging out with us tonight. We've gone over, and it's been great. And I do want to add, is there any other thoughts, DeMarco, you have or Assassin has about?
No, I'll just end up
anything?
repeating myself, which I'm really good at.
You're really good at. And you're great also on Thursdays with your podcast. Where can people find that?
Yeah, check out. We're crawling our way to 5,000 over on DeMarco Dude. Linked in the description below. And we are hosting podcasts Thursday nights at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I don't know what I'm going to cover this week because I don't know what I'll cover.
Elder Scrolls.
Stay tuned for that. I could do a whole thing. You know what? I could do a whole thing about like.
Yep.
I could do a Bethesda. What happened with the showcase? Them not appearing. What their future looks like. That could be an episode.
Yeah. Exactly.
We'll see.
Seriously. Yeah, that could be great.
Thursdays at
not
6:30
a
p.m.
good
Check
look.
it out if you're interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Assassin?
Oh yeah, I was just saying it's not a good look.
It's a fine look.
What, that BGS wasn't there?
Yeah, it doesn't matter as people are making a bigger. When Elder Scrolls 6 gets fully revealed, everybody's gonna forget about their complaining that they're doing now, and then they're gonna look at it and go, "Oh my God," the same way they did the same exact thing with Starfield.
Oh no, I hope that they're fully. I hope that every single member of BGS is on Elder Scrolls 6 right now. That's what
They're
I
not,
hope.
but yeah, well,
I know they're not, but that's what I want.
Jonas says they fine looking. Thank you.
Yeah,
We need 5 likes to get to 30. Come on, let's do it. Let's do it, guys. 5 likes to get to 30, please, please. And I'm not talking to the person in chat. I'm talking to you, sitting there playing your game. Pause your game. Hit the like button, please. Thank you. Bow Chicka Wow Wow. Thank you, True77 for being here. Lotus is Spree, American Fury, everyone else. Really appreciate you guys being here. Assassin, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter @Assassin52. Exactly how the Assassin. Assassin? What the heck is? What's going on with me?
It's a whole new world, a brand new place you never knew.
I have
Because
not
when
been
you're
drinking
way
that
out
much water
here,
today.
it's crystal clear. Sorry.
Yeah, you can find me at Assassin52 on Twitter. Assassin, exactly how it's spelled. I think, isn't it spelled on stream, Brett?
Exactly how he's spazzing.
Uh-huh.
Spazzing.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. I got some pretty good. I got some pretty good takes. Sometimes most of the time I have the right take. Sometimes I don't. But yeah, that's all I got. Cause I'm not a content creator like these three. Speaking of which, when's y'all's next videos?
I don't know. I've stopped. I haven't stopped. I will just. I'm done promising things. But definitely go check out Holly, who's streaming right now. Go click whenever you leave here. Literally everyone in stream, leave the stream right now and click on that link in the chat and go show support to Holly. Go subscribe to her channel and tell them that.
Tell her that we sent you.
Yeah, tell them that the Renegade Realm podcast sent you. And just go show her some love. But yeah, and you can find me on Twitter. Go follow me on Twitter if you haven't done that already. I don't do much on there other than tweet about games that I love randomly. It's like big, huge, crazy news just happened. Look at all this drama, and I'm like, man, I love The Witcher 4 or The Witcher 3 or Hitman or whatever. I just love games, man, and that's what this podcast is all about. And we couldn't have it without you guys. Thank you to the one person who subscribed during the show. If you're watching after the fact, thank you for watching after the fact. And we really appreciate you guys every single Tuesday. And thanks for sticking around. And we'll see you. We'll see you next week. Goodbye, everyone.
Existence is pain.
Mm-hmm.